How does a man get to be a pimp?
I can show you a way out. There's another way around to the road.
Another way to the road? You know another way? Good. Come on in. Don't stand. Look, you show me how to get out of here. I'll give you $1.
$3.
Free? Why, you... Yeah, all right.
Go ahead. Arrest me. Stick me in. You can't punish me. I'm sick. You can't punish me for being sick. All you can do is lock me up, but not forever. One day I'll get out. One day I'll get out. That's the law. That's the law. That's the law. And I'll be back. I'll be back. You'll hear from me. You know fucking
A, B, C. A, always, B, B, C, closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
Where's my rocket stuff? Right where they belong.
That's faggot stuff.
Oh, Jesus. Wish you could see this. Lights coming up. I've never seen a painting that captures the beauty of the ocean.
Let's drink to this partnership. To the partnership.
You hear that, Dad? You're gonna pay. He's a molester. He's a child molester.
I just thought I might mosey over to the war room for a few minutes, see what's doing over there.
Stop feeling me up, faggot. Why, you getting a hard on, faggot? Bitch ass.
You smoke this, and be sure you get the smoke deep down into your lungs.
I don't smoke.
It's tobacco. It's one of the healthiest things for your body. Now go ahead. You need all the strength you can get.
Referee, hit me, Chief. Hit me, baby. Put it in the basket, Chief. Put it in the basket. All I want is a fucking number. That should be goddamn good enough for you. Now give me a fucking number. You fucking hear me? I'm sick of this fucking shit. Stop fucking treating me right. Give me a fucking number. I'll fucking kill you.
Daddy, did you see that? What? Guy got me on the ground. He tried to fuck me.
If I fall short, if I don't make the grade, if your expectations aren't met in me today, there's always tomorrow or tomorrow night hanging there, baby. Sooner or later, I know I'll get it right. Please don't give up on me. Oh, please don't give up on me. I know it's late in the game, but my feelings, my true feelings haven't changed. Here in my heart, I know I was wrong. I'd like to make amends for the love that I never, ever shown. Just don't give up on me. Every word is true. I'll give you my everything. All of my love. All of my love. All of my love to you. Just don't give up on me. Oh, please. Please. Don't give up on me. I don't want you to. I know it's late, but wait. Please, don't give up on me. Promise. Will you promise me? Will you promise me? Please don't give up on me. We can make it if we try. I'm gonna hold on with me. and don't give up on me. Hey. Don't give up on me. Whatever you do, we gon' make it. We'll make it through. Don't you give up on me. Please, please, please. Promise me. Don't give up on me.
King Solomon Burke, there's your American Idol, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's the Ron and Fez show. I'm Ron, there's Fezzy.
Hiya, buddies.
And the crying man in the booth right now doing that song is our own Earl Douglas. Earl, how you doing, pal? He was just crying like Paula Abdul.
Just sobbing in there, and for some reason, even though he's just playing the song, he's not singing it, he's still sitting on a giant throne. I don't know why he moved that in there.
All right, Earl?
Yes.
Can you talk to us all?
Yeah, there we go.
What was going on?
No, they had to change something around. I'm sorry.
What, technical problems because we're back an hour? Suddenly we can't be able to deal?
Earl says they had to change something around.
Yeah.
You see Mars, our engineer, standing behind him, shaking his head no to Ronnie and putting his hands up like Earl is lying to your faces.
I'm not. I just saw it. I hit the mic, I opened my mouth, nothing came out, and I said, get Mars,
yes.
And then I figured out that
Same
one of
with
the buttons...
your ass, mister.
Nothing came out of your mouth, Earl, because you're a choke artist.
I'm not a choke artist.
You are the Bill Buckner of producers. You know what?
Watch this.
Yes. When you don't talk, nothing happens.
Yes. It wasn't.
And again, your staff is laughing at you.
Yeah.
Your cast of interns, there's a ventriloquist puppet mocking you right now.
Yeah.
What, the Ready, Shoot, Aim crew? What?
All right, you know what? The first day you did that, old chestnut, we all laughed and loved it. But you don't get away with it every day, dog.
I'm sorry.
Why don't you get a dog pound going in there, Earl? All right, Ron and Fez show technical problems. First day being moved back an hour.
Yeah, as we start at noontime in the east and 9 a.m. on the west coast.
Which should not really be noticeable under any normal circumstances. Hey, you would have thought it would have felt different to me? Not at all.
Not one bit?
No, I just kept sleeping right until I was forced to wake.
Then feel a little later in the day.
Nothing even feels slightly different.
The commute's a little different, a little off.
Oh, you know what? I did have a celebrity sighting. Well, one, Radio Man, that was just for Earl. Radio Man was out today because 2020 was shooting something down the street. But then I saw that gay designer that grabbed the girl's tit on the runway.
Oh, Isaac Mizrahi.
Yeah, I saw him.
Oh, nice.
You know what I yelled? You look like $1 million, baby. You seriously do. You look like $1 million.
He's a guy who doesn't look like he's a fashion designer.
No fashion designer does. It's like, do you ever notice those famous hair people always have bad hair, like in the movie Shampoo?
Oh, yeah, it's always like, it's usually huge, like it's some sort of porcupine hair, and it's like, are you looking in your own mirror at all?
See, I think that's the thing. You're so busy with everyone else's hair, you don't have time to run a comb through yours.
I think it comes down to experimentation.
But I don't think that, like, you would go to a dentist if he had crooked teeth all in his mouth and going the wrong way. You'd be like, I don't think this guy's on the ball.
That's my British dentist.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. He not only did his whole demeanor look like shit, he was dressed like shit.
Yeah, and he's a guy, he on TV, I don't know how big he looked like in real life, but he looks big on TV?
Not as big as he does on TV.
Oh, okay.
TV is disgusting what they do to people.
Because he kind of looks like he should be working construction, and then that voice comes out of him.
But the other funny thing was he did have two really ugly dogs. He didn't even have, like, little pretty show dogs. He had a couple of mutts whose big buttholes were sticking out, almost like Audis.
I guess he's got a lot going for him, but he sounds like a mess.
But he did have, like, like 3 or 4, like a little posse of pussy, if you will, just really hot chicks following him around.
All trying to get in the latest fashion.
But he doesn't, he doesn't dress well or want chicks. It's very odd when you think about it. The guys that attract chicks don't want chicks.
Was it Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah.
Whose boob that he grabbed?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly who it was.
On the red carpet.
Yeah. Which you can't blame him for that.
Maybe it's just his cover.
That's why I couldn't do that red carpet. I just fucking had my face in it. I just lay my dick up there. So, you excited about the new film?
They would just have you being dragged off the red carpet before
Yeah.
the awards show even got close to starting.
And let's face it, I wouldn't care. I can't yell people's names and ask them to come over. I just can't do that.
Kathy Griffith makes a drunk joke about Dakota Fanning, and she's pulled off the red carpet and put up in the balcony.
She should be pulled off the red carpet and forced to write a joke.
The Flying Tomato, Kathy Griffith.
The Flying Tomato should be forced to write a gag.
Shaun White really should copyright that name before Kathy Griffith steals it.
I bet if you were banging Kathy Griffith, you would look up at least 7 times and think it was Eastside Dave and go totally limp.
Where's your puppet?
I would only be able to do her doggy style with the picture taped to the back of her head.
Any style with her is doggy style. That's Kathy Griffith.
So you're catty now. Is this another catty moment with Fez?
No, that's just a mini catty moment. Kitten moment.
What happened with those? They seem to be gone now.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays?
Yeah.
So you have...
Oh, wait a minute. Today is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm off a day.
Is today Wednesday, Earl?
Yes, today is Wednesday.
And now, another catty moment with Fez.
Any style. Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, Kathy Griffith.
Any style with you is doggy style.
Maybe I'll be that guy. Hey, Fez.
Yeah, Ronnie.
Isn't Kathy Griffith so kind of an ugly person?
Sure, I guess.
She's so stupid and ugly, she should go to stupid and ugly school. In Vermont. You know what I mean, Fez?
That was a catty moment with
Ron.
Fez.
I wasn't done yet. I still have more cat. I was going to say she probably smells bad and it's disgusting. So, O&A did their big walk-through show, walk across the street. How did all that go?
Yeah, I heard the walkover from Free FM to the XM studio. As we walk this way, Aerosmith playing.
Nice.
I don't know if that'll work every day.
I think it should. I think it should always be walked this way.
It seemed like a longer walk to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Than what it normally would be?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess most of our walks aren't on the air.
Yeah, so it seems like you get somewhere faster.
It's just like when you go, chase Earl with a mic. He's only running about, 25 yards, but it seems like forever before you can catch him. All right, Robert's got a little beef with you. Robert, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I wanted to see if Fez could get just one name right this morning. It's not Isaac Mizrahi, it's Mizrahi, and it's not Kathy Griffith, it's Kathy Griffin. Jesus.
So the Southern gay guys are furious with you this morning, Fez.
I'm sorry, Robert, that I didn't get your favorite fashion designer's name right.
Screw you, Fez.
Oh, my goodness.
The Alabama Queens are going out of their mind. Now, I feel like Fez's mic is really hot today. Is that true or false, or is it just me?
I think it's just yours.
Sometimes,
okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's my headphones. So there's some days where I can't hear Fez at all. And today, it just feels like he's at a full tilt scream.
I think it's different every day.
It really is. That's the beauty of it all.
It's catch-ass catch-cam microphones.
What did you just call it? Stop mispronouncing words. Here's Mike. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
232. Hooah! Hey, boys, is there a new Lost tonight? See ya!
I believe there's a new Lost, right?
Nope, no new Lost tonight.
What?
From what I understand, it's another clip show on Lost. One of those shows that gets you up to date.
I don't want to be up to date. I want to go into the future, find out what's in the bottom of something.
You have to actually have dates to get up to date, Lost.
You know what I hate about that show, Lost? No one ever tells anyone else what they've seen. There's never been a time where let's all get together, talk about our past, say what we saw here, and see if we can start and put things together.
Yeah, the one lady that knows that Locke used to be in a wheelchair. Why wouldn't you bring that up to people?
Who knew that?
The lady, the older lady who was sick, and she tried to get cured by her husband. Her husband was on the other side of the island. He was in the tail section.
Was this last week?
Yeah.
My TiVo went out halfway through the Lost last week. So as I'm watching, it goes purely black. I was furious. Michelle Rodriguez from the TV show Lost, she gets busted on a DUI. So she's offered, look, it's a $500 fine, 240 hours of community service, or you do 5 days in jail. Well, there's only one answer to that question. If it's jail or the other curtain, 100% of the time, people take the other curtain. Michelle Rodriguez says, put me in fucking jail. Put me in jail. I can do 5 days standing on my head.
She is as tough in real life, I guess, as on this show.
She is one tough broad. There's no doubt about it.
She is not playing a character. That is actually, they ought to just call that person, actress Michelle Rodriguez was on the plane with the Lost people.
Yeah, she is tough as nails, wants no part of their little plea bargain. She'll go in and do her time before community service. Now, when you're a star doing community service, what's that even mean? You got to show up, meet some people, maybe sign a few things. It's not like you're going to find yourself working in a soup kitchen or picking up trash.
Yeah, she does like charity golf tournaments or something. That's her community service out on Waikiki.
Well, that ain't happening, Fez. She said, give me the 5 days. Let me put it in the rearview mirror. I want no part of it.
I think she's going to break out of this prison. I don't think there's a Hawaiian prison that can handle her.
No, nobody could. Nobody can. And she's unbelievably sexy in a tough girl way, in the Latin tough girl way.
She's going to be doing a Prison Break show where she's busting out of Honolulu County.
Now, I have friends like that where some kind of fine would come up, and they'd always do the deal, I got more time than money, and just head on into jail without a care in the world. And I'm like, I will do anything to keep that door from being shut. I do not want to be locked in a pen. What do I got to do to get out of this little mess? What kind of checks do I write? What do I have to promise? She doesn't care at all. Hey, David, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How are you, buddy?
Hey, how you doing now?
Yeah.
Go ahead, pal. Yep, you're on the air.
When I look at Michelle, my gaydar goes off. I think she wants to go to jail because there's a lot of snatch up in there. 5 days around snatch.
The last thing I think she's got to worry is about the poonie. I bet she attracts it. Forget Ellen. I bet it's all about her.
Yeah.
So she'd rather do 120 when you're faced with 240 hours of community service.
Right.
240 hours seems like a lot.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of hours. But you're facing 120 of being in jail. That still seems, I can't see where you would make the other choice, the jail choice.
Well, you get that over quick. I mean, you got to remember there, you're sleeping for 8 hours. That's fine. You're eating. I'm sure she's not going to take a dump over those 5 days, so that one doesn't count for you. But a couple of whizzes. So there is stuff that you can pull off. Here is Ken. Ken, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Ron and Fez, buddies. How you doing?
Hey, man.
Hey, what are the chances if Michelle Rodriguez breaks out of prison, we might see her in a Dog the Bounty Hunter episode? What do you think?
I don't think we got to worry about her running. I think she's going to go into that joint and own it. Just start running it from day one.
If they're smart, they'll put her in one of those pits with a lid like they did on Lost when they captured Sawyer and everyone else.
So the word on her earlier was that she was going to be killed off on that show because she's so tough to get along with.
Yeah, apparently like the production staff just can't stand her.
Well, who cares about them? Just point a camera. Stop being a crybaby and point the camera. You're getting paid for it. What can you only film nice people? Ron and Fez show, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. Last night on American Idol, Fezzy, we talked about it. It seems like Paula Abdul broke down and started crying. And not just like a single tear, but just sobbing wet. Like she just got the news that she lost a family member.
Yeah, really couldn't contain herself, and that was after Elliot sang.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a quick listen to what she did last night. Or I guess she fell apart.
You move me. You celebrate what this competition is all about. And, I spent the day yesterday watching the tapes when everyone first started, and you moved me from the beginning. But you are this handsome, evolved performer that you are an American Idol. You have a
Well, there she is. She just fell apart on us all.
I didn't know if she was going to be able to get herself back together to finish the show. I figured once she started crying, all the rest of the performers were going to have her just in a puddle.
I thought you meant that the other two judges were going to start sobbing as well.
Simon could not quit laughing while she's having her meltdown.
And I think he faked that. I thought that was a little bit of acting. You know what I mean? No adult feels the need to laugh while somebody else is feeling emotional. He just likes to taunt a little bit. Here is John. John, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How are you, pal? Go ahead,
Doing
John.
fine, Ronnie.
Cool.
Hey, I was going to talk a little bit about Lost. What do you think the show is? What about Purgatory? You feel like a baseline there for Purgatory?
No, it's definitely not Purgatory. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. If it was Purgatory, people will riot in this country because that got figured out like the first day. So it isn't. It's some kind of weird shit that's going on. It's like 3 or 4 different things that's happening, but not any of it. They're all still alive, and they're still dealing with it. Hey, Jim, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
It's time I got 2 things. It's time for Betty Ford. She's got to go. And then this first one, the song that you played into it, was that Dave's final goodbye song?
Dave's final goodbye. You know what? I see and hear more negative stuff about Dave right now. You know, Dave tells me he can't even go on that ronfez.net because how negative people are about him.
And he used to hang out there constantly.
Yeah, I would have thought that those folks would have been happy about one of their own coming up in the world. But for whatever reason, they're just extra rough on Dave. And you're a big Dave fan, right, Fez?
I'm a huge Eastside Dave fan.
Yeah. Dave, how are you dealing right now?
I'm dealing pretty good. I mean, you know, there's
the crushing anti-Dave stuff. Does it take you down? Does it hurt?
Yeah, it brings me down pretty much. You know, the murder him. You know, that makes me feel a little blue from time to time. The he sucks.
Right.
It makes me feel purple, I guess. I don't know, colors. But I don't feel happy about it. There's no question about that.
All right. Well, just, you know, are you learning from Fez? You staying with him?
Yeah. Fez, he's teaching me a lot. He taught me a little something this morning.
Don't tell me it's 69. Please don't tell me he taught you 69.
He's a quick learner.
No, it was something else. And it's going to be good. We're gonna do it, I think.
See, this is why people don't like him, Fez. He can't focus on a thought. That's his problems. Dave, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys.
How are you, buddy?
Pretty good. Hey, did you catch Ryan Seacrest's comment to Kelly Pickler last night? He mentioned the word playmate, something like a kind of a prelude to that she's either the porn industry bound or centerfold bound, because her performance just totally blew last night.
Yeah, but I did like that she combed her hair with a shovel and then went out on TV. You got to give her all the credit in the world for that.
It looked like she had a blonde turd sitting on top of her head.
For some reason, that was the first time I found her hot. Just when you can make a girl wear her hair stupid and go out in public, I think that she's the perfect bottom. I think if she gets the right daddy, he is going to train her to be perfect.
She looked last night like she had put the big giant roller in the front of her hair and then completely forgot to take it out and walked out on stage.
Then the other chick, Pantyline, she was out last night, and they all kicked the shit out of her. Fez, we forgot to do your little radio psychic. And now I found out, because I keep getting emails, about these sites that let you know the bottom 3. That's how you've been doing this all season.
I have been going just from my own judgment from the Tuesday night show.
I've been finding out exactly everything that's going on all the time. And all season long, I've been impressed with Fezzy. Until now, I found out the truth.
In the final 12, I've only been off 1 week when Mandisa went. Tonight,
I hate to correct you, but again, mispronunciation. Her name is Mandingo. Mandingo.
It's Mandisa.
From the 1975 film that everyone loved, which can no longer be shown on cable. It's so disgusting.
Tonight, it will be Paris who goes home.
Because she's what?
Because she is black.
Sorry, Earl.
That is a why. And America will send her home tonight. The worst singers last night, Kelly Pickler, Catherine McPhee, Taylor Hicks, they won't even be bottom 3.
I think the problem with Paris is not so much that she's black, but she's so phonetically challenged. She really has a tough time up there. It sounds a little low rent, the way she talks. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, good morning, boys.
Hey, buddy.
I was just wondering if you guys caught when Catherine McPhee's dress popped open and you could see her underwear.
Yeah, but that wasn't underwear. That was almost like bikini bottoms because it was the same color as the dress.
It was fantastic either way.
When you again, it's like seeing her in a bathing suit. But when you have a dress that's slid up to, I don't want to say this properly. I would just say it this way. I'm going to use a medical term here. When it's slid up to the cunny, you are going to make sure that you have something matching underneath of it. That's still part of the outfit.
Unfortunately for her, it was so tight around the hips that you could see the Mason-Dixon line of her panties there.
I wasn't just that. I honestly believe I saw some moisture. Just a little bit of moisture. But I TiVo, I go back, and I check.
I got to get one of those high-def TVs.
You would have thrown up. Here is Mike. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Good afternoon, fellas. How are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting off the subject, but I wanted to go back and comment on Eastside Dave.
Oh, sure.
I have red hair myself, and it's almost growing up. It's almost like being a black person,
right?
And
except for without this style,
exactly,
and hipness.
I don't have rhythm. I've got I'm almost albino.
But let's get in. Has there ever in history been a hip, redheaded person?
No, Bill Burr's pretty much the closest fella,
I would say Bill Burr was
a lot of hope.
Yeah.
He's given us hope, but I think Eastside Dave, he's getting there, but sometimes, he doesn't cut it, but he's giving it his all.
This is the biggest compliment you've ever got, Dave.
I really thank you, sir. I do give it my all.
Yeah.
And I do fail a lot.
That's the sad thing, that you're doing the best that you can, and this is where you've ended up.
I'm trying.
Hey, Ron?
Yeah.
I'm actually just kidding. He's a fucking idiot.
That was, Mike, you really had me going.
I'm kidding around. Now,
that was perfect. I love what you did here. You made the retarded kid feel like he was getting it, and then you kicked him in the shin real hard.
It's like you went over to his house, used his pool, and then started making fun of him once you were done.
This is what makes me crazy. Everybody loves that retarded kid that can shoot basketballs. Why can't they be here for Dave?
You know what's the thing about the redheads that has always upset me is that we're always cute as children. For instance, every fucking Kodak or Coca-Cola commercial always has a cute little redhead on a skateboard.
Right, everybody loves a redheaded baby, you're right.
And then once we turn 21, it's chuck us to the curb. It's totally unfair.
That is really true. When a redheaded kid is like 5 or 6, they are the cutest kid in the whole elementary school.
You look like you should be walking around with a slingshot in your pocket and
because they do.
Yeah.
It's not like that's one of those stereotypes that's true. They're little rough and tumble scamps and coveralls.
If you even look at old Norman Rockwell paintings,
love them.
The little redheads were mischievous and cute.
Right.
By the time he would he would paint redheads as adults. They were always faggy with really thin
like in real life. It's so true.
It's like he was taking a snapshot, not painting.
Yeah.
But I do have to disagree about one thing. There have been some cool redheads. W. Axl Rose is a redhead.
Yeah, he's not a weirdo. Go ahead. Who else?
Queens of the Stone Age guy, Josh something. I forget his last name.
Okay.
You would really have to know first and last for everyone to grant the coolness title to.
Conan O'Brien. People like him.
They like him, but would you even say for a second he's hip?
No, I wouldn't say that.
He's like a fucking dork with a TV show.
What about he was in Pulp Fiction, played Rocky Dennis, Mr. Eric Stoltz?
Exactly.
Geek.
Oh, man. How about the chick from Garbage? Or are we just keeping this with males?
Yeah, no one ever has a problem with redhead chicks. They're fucking unbelievably hot. That's not a problem. You're a different species from them. What do you ever think? You ever hear people go, "Oh, that Anne Margaret, she was kind of geeky"? No. They're perfect.
And they run just the opposite on the cute redheaded boy theory. Boy child. Redheaded girls, children, not so cute, and then grow up to be very attractive.
I'd molest them all. I gotta disagree with Fez. I think they look so molestable. Here is George. George, you're on Ron and Fez.
Maha blowing, boys.
Maha, brother.
Hey,
Did somebody mention Mandisa earlier?
Yes.
What about the Paranoid song? I thought we were supposed to play that.
You know what? That is true, Earl. You got to be on the ball here.
Fat and black, baby got back. Mandisa got a big black ass.
Fat and black, we got back.
Beautiful. There it is. Hey, Chris. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Eastside's pretty up on his research of redheads right there, but I want to get back to Idol
It
Talk.
is weird that it seems like you just point them out when you see them on screen.
I have more names if you want them.
Later.
Okay. No, we got plenty of them. We believe you. Now I want to get back. Fucking that one cunty girl. I think she's definitely going to be kicked off. I mean, her
Pickler?
For nice. Cunty. Yeah, no, not Pickler. The first.
Oh, what's her name?
Oh, Catherine McFever.
I don't think so. I think Kathy Lee McFever is going to hang around for a little while. Last week, they loved her. She sang exactly the same. Awful. They acted like she was the biggest star in the world. But what made her start crying is like, the song was too big for you. It was too much. You're not good enough. Not like you fucked up here or there. Your natural talent is not good enough. You gave it your all and it was still crap.
You've only shown us why we love Whitney Houston and hate you.
You thought you were Whitney Houston, but you're not. You're much, much less. You're not even Bobby Brown.
You're a cheap imitation.
Here is Mark. Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, I hate to bring it back to the redhead topic.
Go ahead,
but,
enjoy.
Is it just me, or are the redheads usually the kinkiest ones?
Oh, they definitely are.
Yeah.
They're little freaks. Now, not guys, girls. Redhead guys basically don't get women. But what we're saying is the redhead girls are very kinky, they're freaks, but you know why?
Why?
They have to be. I mean, they gotta bring it up a notch.
I've always wanted to bang a redhead chick too. That's like one of the few conquests that I don't think I've been.
One of the few. Well, the other one is women.
Well, I banged an Asian once, so I always feel like
you did not. You had your girlfriend. You taped her eyes back, and then you made it seem like she was an Asian.
No, she was a true blue Asian. I mean, if you did genetic research, she'd come across as Asian. But, I'd always like to bang a black and a redhead would be the two conquests. I think a redhead.
Why don't you go with Tina Turner and you'll get both?
I'll call her up.
Cross it off your list. You can't mate with another redhead. That baby's hair would supernova.
It would just have a leprechaun.
It would just be too bright for the obstetrician to even stare at.
Here is Ed. Ed, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, BAC 12247.
Hey, my brother.
Hoo-ah! Hey, man. Yeah, what's about David Caruso on CSI? He's pretty hip.
Yeah, he's real hip. Everybody thinks he's the coolest.
Wait a second. He was huge on NYPD Blue. He was a big... And...
What happened? He shot off his pie hole. They made him grovel and live in the street for years. And now he came back like a puppy.
Well... That is true, but when on NYPD Blue, he was considered a sex star, or sex symbol.
Sex star.
Sex symbol, I mean.
Star of sex, screen, and television.
Fez, what are you going to do about your boy here? He rambles, he talks crazy, he loses his train of thought. Haven't you been training him in your own image? Interesting.
Yes, I've taught him just about everything I know.
Fezzy, I got to tell you this. I'm so furious with you right now. Right before the show, a beautiful woman says to me, I always want to come into your show. I want to come into your show. And I'm like, yeah, you're always welcome. To protect Fezzy from you, you're so mean to him.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. Because you let on all the time that you don't get the joke. And it makes me look like an awful person.
Well, I don't understand why you're yelling at me again.
I don't like the fact that you have girls not liking me. That's what frustrates me.
I only have your best interest at heart. I don't see why you have to take it out on me.
Here's where you need to be, though. You've got to turn things around with this Dave. Right now, my Earl, scale 1 to 10, has got to be running at 10. Your Dave, 3 at best.
3?
Yeah.
We're going to start with a dictionary, and he's going to start memorizing that.
I was so glad you said an airy. I thought for sure you were going to bang him. I thought for sure you were starting with a dick. Oh,
that's
God.
like DEFCON 5 there.
Here is Kevin. Kevin, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, boys?
Yeah.
Ron, I got to call you out on this.
Go ahead.
Redheaded chicks, you said they're always hot. That's wrong. They're either really, really hot or really, really not.
Isn't that
you
all
could
women?
take Nicole Kidman, for instance.
Is she really redhead?
Yeah, she is. She's
she?
a real
Yeah, you
redhead.
can look at her
blonde.
eyebrows. You can
can
look at her
tell.
eyebrows and tell she's
Strawberry
redhead.
blonde, would you say, Fez? Would you go that far?
Yeah, I'd go that direction.
That's a cop-out for when people don't want to admit that they're redheads. They say strawberry blondes, but that's a whole bullshit phrase. You're a redhead. Live with it. Nikki Kidman, redhead. No question about it.
So she's now Nikki Kidman to you.
Yeah, I feel like I know redheads on a personal level.
Is that right?
Like, we'd all be friends if we see each other on the street, a convention maybe.
It'd be like when two VWs pass. They always wave and give a quick beep to each other. Tom, you're on Ron and Fez.
Morning.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I really like Dave. I think he's really funny.
That's great.
But I got to call him out on his lyrics for Rawhide on Monday. He was absolutely wrong.
About what?
Hey, Dave, the line, rain and wind and weather. What's the next line?
Start singing it.
Rolling the whole thing, or just that verse?
Yeah, just that verse.
Rain and wind and weather, hail them forever.
Hail them forever.
No.
Maybe you need to start at the beginning.
No.
That was rain and wind. No, rain and wind and weather, hail them forever.
Why would you hail?
Because it's rain and wind and hail. Like, hail the weather force.
That's crazy talk.
I thought,
hail them forever? You would never say that.
You mix that up with your high school fight song.
No, he's saying rain and wind and weather and hail. And then them
forever. That doesn't make sense.
Hell bent for leather.
Hell bent for leather. Like the old Run DMC song, album.
I'm not so sure about that. I think it's...
Look it up.
I will.
Get Roberto to look it up.
All right, why don't you sing the whole song for us, Dave? Because you do this at every wedding.
Yeah, I try to do it as much as possible. Proms, weddings, and drunken bar nights.
All right, and here's what. You'll sing your song, and then I'll be that weird guy on American Idol last night, that piano guy. Did you even know who he was? This expert who won 14 Grammys?
No, I had never heard of him whatsoever.
He was hanging out with the blind guy, and he's like Bob Fosse, the way he's pushing people around. So, all right, start singing, and I'll be that guy. What's his name?
David Foster.
I'll be David Foster. All right, go ahead.
Rollin'.
No. From here. From the diaphragm.
Okay. Rollin'.
What was that? What are you doing? Go ahead. Sing.
Rollin'.
Yes.
Rollin'.
Yes.
Keep them doggies
Right.
rollin'.
Yes.
Keep them doggies.
No. And lay down and sing. Lay down on the floor and sing.
Okay. All right. Rollin'.
With your dick out. Take your dick out.
Keep them doggies
Yes.
rollin'.
Yes.
Keep them doggies rollin'.
Stroke it.
Rawhide.
Stroke it.
Rain and wind and
Cup the
weather.
balls down.
Hail
Cup
them
the balls.
forever. Wishing my gal was by my side. All the things I'm missing, good victuals, love and kissing, awaiting at the end of my life.
At your life? You're not going to get it till the end of your life?
Well, he's on his deathbed, Cookie. You better bring him in those victuals.
And kiss him. Now give him victuals and a good kissing.
I actually finally got one part of the song right because the first 12 years of my life I thought it was Skittles, and I wasn't even kidding around.
How would you sing?
Because I saw Blues Brothers when I was 12, so I was like...
So the first 12 years of your life is really 12 to 24?
What are we having for dinner, Cookie? Well, I got some beans and Skittles. Taste the rainbow.
I believe my life started when I first saw Blues Brothers.
Okay.
It's like a Jesus.
So how were you singing it before?
Hail them for wishing my God was by all the things I'm missing. Good Skittles, love and kisses away.
No, that's funny. A fucking retarded redheaded kid thinking that cowboys eat Skittles. All right, do we have that lyric sheet?
Yeah, Little John's running in now.
All right, well, make sure he gets it. And we're going to test him. Here is Bill. Bill, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, first off, I want to say I fucking hate Dave. He's the worst. And more importantly, how about a retard on TV with red hair? Corky, that fucking little retard.
You finally found the coolest one.
Let me tell you, when all the redheads of the world get together, you know what they call Corky?
No.
Boss.
Ooh.
All right, I've got the lyric sheet here. Thanks, Little John. All right, Skittles, let's hear you. Let's hear you sing that.
Rollin', 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 keep them doggies rollin', keep them doggies rollin', rawhide, rain and wind and weather, hail them forever.
Start for the first line after Rollin', Rollin'.
Keep them, rain and wind and weather.
No, go back. Rollin', 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 keep those doggies rollin', right?
Keep those doggies rollin', rawhide.
No, you missed. Though the streams are swollen. You missed that line.
Oh.
So that's the first line after Rollin', Rollin', Rollin'.
I never even remembered that part.
Yes, because you were 12. You see a movie that somehow you believe is Citizen Kane. You're basing your life on it. Something Belushi killed himself over. He was so ashamed. And yet you feel like it's the greatest film ever. All right, go ahead.
Rain and wind and weather, hail them forever.
No, hell bent forever. Go ahead.
My gal was by my side. All the things I'm missing. Good Skittles, love, and kissing.
No, go ahead and sing it the right
Okay, all the things I'm missing. Good Vittles, love, and kissing.
All right, now I have this as good victuals, is the way it's on this lyric sheet, which I have a feeling that the lyric sheet must be nuts.
Yeah, I've never heard the word victuals before.
Yeah.
What
so, Little John, look it up on a different thing than lyrics freaks, and see if we can get it, because a lot of times these things are wrong. All right, so pick it up for Wishing That My Girl Was By My Side.
Wishing my gal was by my side. All the things I'm missing. Wait, good feels loving. Wishing my down. My heart's calculating. My true love is waiting.
That isn't even in here.
My heart's calculating? What cowboy has a calculator?
This isn't on here at all.
I'm writing it up on my adding machine.
All right, pick back up for Wishing My Girl Was By My Side.
Wishing my gal was by my side. My heart's calculating. My true love is awaiting.
All right, those lines aren't anywhere near there.
Well, then the sheet's wrong.
Now here's what happened. You've jumped ahead a couple of different verses. So you've got the right lines, but from a completely different verse. You should be on are waiting at the end after love and kissing.
Waiting at the end after love and kissing?
Are waiting at the end of.
Waiting at the end of our lives.
No, it's my side. Wishing my girl was by my side. Waiting at the end of my ride. And now you move them up. Go ahead.
Move them up, hit them on, move them up, move them on, hit them up, rawhide, cut them out, ride them in, cut them out, ride them in, rawhide.
All right, pick up the next verse.
Keep moving, though they're disapproving. Keep them doggies moving, rawhide. Don't try to understand 'em, just rope and throw and brand 'em. Soon we'll be living side by side.
High and wide.
Side.
High and wide.
High and wide. And it's the end.
My heart's calculating.
My heart's calculating. My true love is awaiting at the end of my life. And then that's the
ride.
Your favorite song that you sing at weddings, you don't know at all.
Wait, can I say that perhaps the Blues Brothers version is different from the lyrical sheet? I think we do have the Blues Brothers version possibly in audio. We might have it. Because maybe it's different.
Why don't you listen to it for a while? Is what you need to do.
I should probably burn it to CD.
Yeah, you should. Put it on your iPod, and then throw that iPod in the East River. And then dive in after it with holding on to a giant rock. I give my guy Earl a 10. I give your guy, Dave, I'm going to give him a 2 right now, Fez.
Down from a 3?
And you know what that means?
What?
I have 10, you have 2. That's where we are right now.
Dave, you got to get those lyrics
and if all the beautiful women in the world cry because old poor Fezzy gets called out on his responsibilities, then I'm the bad guy.
It's just 8 points. I averaged that in high school.
What?
Freshman year.
What?
Freshman
JV what?
Year. Not even. I averaged it for a freshman year. I was like 7th man off the bench, sharpshooter from the 3-point range.
All right, 7th man off the bench. You're 12th then. You're 12th in the lineup. And what were you averaging?
About 8 points.
Because Gunner has to get out there and start shooting basically the same way they brought on the retard, where he gets brought in the game and he just keeps shooting.
He only gets to dress out that last home game of the season when they're up by 20.
But he thinks he's part of the team.
He's equipment manager.
Yeah.
He's counting balls afterwards.
Well, I did have to do that, too, and put him in the nets and stuff. But I got a uniform.
What was that redhead's name, Fezzy, that did so well?
Jason McElwing.
And where was the school?
I thought it was like upstate New York.
Yeah.
I thought. I'm not sure on that one.
So they're doing a film about this kid's life. He's autistic. And what happens?
Yeah, so he's equipment manager on the high school team because they want to let him participate. They have their last home game of the season. They're up by a huge amount of points, so they're already in the playoffs. They told him he could dress for the game, so he's in a uniform. They put him in with 4 minutes left, and he hit 6 3-pointers.
Yeah. Not to mention that the other team let him do it as well. And there's going to be a movie now.
And now he's got a movie deal with Magic Johnson.
And how's the movie supposed to end? Do you know? Because I've got the perfect ending for it. This kid's 40. He's still living at home, draining whatever savings his elderly parents have, and they still can't take that trip to Ireland like they've always dreamed of, because if they leave, he'll leave the stove on and burn the fucking house down.
I don't know how that's going to play with test audiences. Other than extremely realistic.
That's what I would say. Where's the sad part? Where's the truth? Well, now we can't take that vacation. Because the mother still acts like he's an infant.
They've done this movie already. It's Air Bud.
That's cruel. That's the dog that plays basketball?
Yeah, the blonde kid who shouldn't have been able to shoot a basket ends up being the team hero. It's Air Bud.
Didn't Air Bud lose a paw somehow?
Yeah. So I don't even know if they used the same Air Bud when they did a sequel, when I think Air Bud could play soccer. The dog could kick, too.
Here is Mike. Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah. Well, how are you, pal? What can we do for you?
I just wanted to point out that when Dave was listing his list of people there, redheads, he didn't go to his go-to guy, Evander Holyfield.
He honestly brings up Evander Holyfield every show, and normally 2 to 3 times.
He's a warrior.
Yeah, but you brought up that guys that you would do if you had to. You said Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, I mean, if it was real quick, people said 5 minutes.
How many rounds would you go with him in the bedroom?
You know, whenever we do that little game of guys that you're forced to have sex with to protect your parents from the Nazis, most guys would think they're the pitcher. You take it as if a catcher. You honestly think you'd take it in the ass first.
It's just real quick, you know.
He loves his mom and dad.
All right, Earl, let me ask you. If you were forced into that situation, right, would you be the top or the bottom if you had to be with a guy?
I'd pitch. Definitely pitch.
So you could get a hard-on in a guy's ass. You're gay, my friend. You are 100% gay. It's not even close. You just went down to a 9. Fez is giving you an 11 for some reason.
I want to trade guys.
Don't start crying, ladies. Just a little joke between me and my best pal, Fez. Here is Scott. Scott, you're on Ron and Fez. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
They've already cast that movie, haven't they? I thought Jan Michael Vincent was making his big comeback.
Poor Jan Michael Vincent. How's he doing?
Oh, I think he's just...
He's a mess.
Yeah. And I mean, he was a major sex symbol in his day. He was the one that the gals wanted.
Was he a motorcycle accident that scrambled him?
He was dope and alcohol. And I'm sure, you know, you get high long enough, you're going to fall off of things and wreck things. It happens all the time. But you could really only blame that on alcohol and drugs.
Him and Mickey Rourke always had a similar path, no?
Well, he's older than Mickey. He was, you know, like a decade before Mickey came on the scene. But, yeah, there is a lot of similarity there where they both ended up all mangled up. And people have no idea how cool Mickey Rourke was considered in the 80s.
Then now he's the tattooed monkey, the plastic surgery guy.
Yeah, no one has a problem with the tattoos. That's still considered cool. But the fact that you can't make out his face anymore, he can't make an expression, and he talks stupid. But, like, when he was Motorcycle Boy, let me explain something to you, Fez. The Motorcycle Boy reigns. The Motorcycle Boy reigns. Here's Darren. Darren, you're on, Fez.
Hey, guys. All seriousness, man. Every time Dave steps in front of the mic, I'm going to squiz. How about I give you my home phone number? You give me a call back with such.
We could do that. Anybody who really has these problems with Dave, we will give you a, as we call the pre-squiz call, and then the post-quiz call that he's off the air.
There's nothing wrong with rocking out a little bit, Darren. You know, take some. Yeah, Squiz is a great channel. You know,
Right.
great XM channel. Just rock out, do it, and then come.
Why
on
don't we
back.
do this? When you walk in here, and you start talking, why don't we just have Earl play rock songs until you leave?
Squiz alert.
And then that way we won't lose the listeners.
You could do that too. You know, I'm up for anything. Okay, but I'm just letting you know I'm here for you, Mr. W, and you, Mr. B.
You pointed the wrong way, didn't you?
You just got our names wrong.
You pointed the wrong way. But why? Here's what I'm asking. Why doesn't RonFez.net back him up? He's one of their own. Wouldn't they think he's our champion? He came to us. You were telling me this. They seem so negative. They used to be so positive in the WNEW days.
Yeah, I mean, it goes in cycles, but right now it seems to be, just a bit of a negative thing. Yeah, it's, it's got the negative vibe.
Why do you think it's so negative?
KOP, otherwise known as Kurtoid.
Yeah, we know him pretty good.
Yeah, he can be very negative.
He's
a gloomy Gus.
Yeah.
He's a vicious son of a bitch.
Well, don't worry about it, Dave. I mean, you can't take all that stuff personal. But, in the WNEW days, when we would have like a little off show, the board and the listeners would go, how can we help? How can we pick the guys up a little bit? What can we do to make this better?
Yeah, the community seems to have changed.
What are you going to do?
Well, people grow up, people have kids,
You haven't. You haven't grown up or had kids.
No, I was thinking of Alki and Solera, I guess.
Oh. By the way, I got a very uncomfortable message from Solera, since the three of you guys talk about giving her sloppy kisses. She is not coming to the bar night now.
Oh, come on.
No,
she's had it.
She's got to be there May 13th.
Yeah. Between you three and Frenchie, she's had it with the molestation that takes place.
I was going to test out my new move. I had a perfect sneak attack.
Try it on Fez right now. Show us how it goes. Go ahead. Head on over.
I'm not going to kiss him.
Yeah. Here's Alan. Alan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I want to talk to Eastside Dave.
Go ahead. What do you want to say to him?
I just let him go because Dave's running around. He just did a visual joke, and then he says to me, "Did you get that?" As if I'm a director filming something.
No, what I meant was, okay, well, what I did was I tapped Fez on the left shoulder when he looked to the left. Mm-hmm. I gave, I didn't actually kiss him, but I would give a little peck on the
first
right.
time I saw Redhead do that was in Mask. You are Rocky Dennis. You really are.
He got up with that. He got with that blind chick. I mean,
here is Pete. Pete, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Maha Bone, my brother.
Maha.
The new Mickey Rourke is Sizemore all the way. He's on a path to self-destruction, and he is our generation's Mickey Rourke.
Now, let me ask this though: did you think he ever had the career that Mickey Rourke had? I agree that he's a fucking train wreck, but Mickey Rourke was almost like the new James Dean. He could have, if Mickey Rourke would have died after Breathless, everybody would still be talking about him now.
Yeah, I think Mickey Rourke had a chance of being the biggest star in Hollywood.
He was. If he wasn't, he was definitely one of them. Some people even said he was the best actor of the 80s.
I didn't see Tom Sizemore headed that direction.
Let me check with Earl. Earl, what's the community think? What's happening over at the barbershop? What's everybody saying?
Man, we love the Mickey Rourke. Absolutely adored him. I mean, think of Rumblefish and Diner and
here's
Angel
the black
Heart.
version of this. Whatever happened to that kid from Friday that everybody loved? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, Chris Tucker?
Yeah, what happened to Chris Tucker? He was so hot for a minute, and then he went crazy.
He's doing a third Rush Hour movie coming out this summer. Again.
It's coming out? Because I kept hearing that thing was just running into all kinds of trouble.
I haven't seen it listed on the big popcorn movies to look for, and that normally would be if it was coming out.
Yeah, because they kept throwing him tons of money to do all these Rush Hour movies, and then he said he wouldn't do movies.
But how come it's not listed on one of the movies that's coming out this summer?
I think you're wrong there, Earl. I don't think there's a Rush Hour 3 this summer.
Don't drop down to a 7 on me, Earl, because this kid, the Seaside Dave, will catch you just by sitting still. That's what you ought to have him do, is nothing, Fez, if you want to take the win of this producer battle.
He's so fidgety.
Yeah.
I hope I can get him just to sit quietly.
Here is Scott. Scott, you're on Ron and Fez. Scott.
Oh, okay. Hey, I miss Ron and Fez nothing.
I don't get it.
Well, you'd say, yeah, me too, they were the best.
But why would you... I don't know. It was a whole different joke. Where are you calling from?
Chicago.
Chi-Town?
Yeah.
Windy City?
That too.
Yeah. City with the big shoulders? That
Really
toddling town?
That's it.
Second city?
Well, I had a cool red.
City with a lot of nicknames?
I think that's the newest one.
The city that thinks that pizza should be made like bundt cake?
Exactly.
Chicago.
Deep dish.
Chicken in a car and the car won't go. Chi-Town.
That's a good one. Hey, redhead, cool redhead, Bernie from room 222.
Yeah, he's always considered one of the real cool people in history. Why don't you go with an Irish afro or an ifro?
Then you're going to have Bill Walton playing for you.
No problems there.
You're not gonna, or and he is the most despised redhead in the community. He should be outlawed.
Wait a minute, there's a redheaded community?
Absolutely.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So you guys all live together?
Yeah.
The redheaded part of town?
Red Acres.
And then, you know what? If, like, one of our girlfriends is dating down there, we'll go, do you hear? She's going red. She is going red on us.
Better dead than red.
All right, who's all hated in the redheaded community?
That motherfucker Carrot Top. And the reason is because,
I thought he would be the king of the redheads.
No, he's dyeing his eyebrows now. He's dyeing his hair more
Aren't
red.
you?
No.
Oh, my God.
I should, maybe.
So you have eyebrows somewhere?
That would prevent...
So how's he dyeing his eyebrows? He's dyeing them black or something?
No, he's dyeing like really that orangey reddish stuff.
Right.
And you can tell that he's dyeing his... You can always tell when someone's dyeing their hair. Right. And he is... And it's like, we know you're a redhead. Could you go by your real name, whatever? If his name was Brian Wilson, did you have to go by Carrot Top? Accentuate? You don't.
That is his real name, Brian Wilson?
No, I'm saying like as an example.
That's why he's not going by it. If that's his real name.
Oh, everybody's gonna think I'm the Beach Boy.
I didn't even think about that guy. But I mean, you don't see like a black guy going around as hey, I'm Blackie or whatever, Black Top, black fucking head.
What? First of all, you're going to get that.
White people are so scared of black people.
And black people don't have nicknames, is what you're saying?
Well, I can think of a couple of nicknames for him.
No, not the ones that your dad gave him. But what is your point? Why did you bring black people into this?
Like, you don't see a rapper going by, I'm black guy. And so why does Carrot Top have to... They don't accentuate their physical look.
I see. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And, now that I'm on this topic, I hate when black people make fun of redheads. That's true. Like,
they don't have the right to, like the rest of us?
No. White people with normal hair have the right, but...
Right.
You don't see me making fun of a black guy in the subway, and I got called red by this guy in the subway, this big black guy in the subway.
Why didn't you call him black?
That's my point. I could have gone there and he would have fucking crushed my face.
Would he have? Or would he have said, you know what, you've really come up with something there?
It's just, let's have some sensitivity in this country. I mean, if the whites do it,
All right, no Rush Hour 3. Earl, you've dropped to a 6. Brett Ratner, who directed the first 2 films, went on and he's doing X-Men 3. Wow, that's going to hurt X-Men 3, because I don't think that guy's a good director at all, Fez.
Yeah, X-Men 3 lost their good director, Bryan Singer, to Superman.
And there's a rumor that Bryan Singer might even be in for, the Spider-Man after Sam Raimi leaves.
He's just Mr. Comic Book. He only directs comic books now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Because, this is a guy who made Usual Suspects.
Yes, we understand.
So...
He wanted that to be the Joker and the Penguin and the Riddler in the lineup.
Here is Rob. Rob, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, how's it going? Big-ass card holder, number 262.
Hooah!
I just wanted to talk about Mickey Rourke and how he's starting to make a comeback. I mean, he was in Sin City. I thought he was awesome, and I don't think Tom Sizemore is going to be able to have the power to do that.
Yeah, he was good in Sin City, but the part kind of called for somebody who's not even a human, not even completely human, and he was almost typecast into that film.
He's behind a cinder block of makeup with the prosthetics and everything, playing Marv in Sin City.
The guy was great. Go back and watch Diner. I thought he was unbelievable when he played Boogie. He was just terrific.
I thought he should have won an Oscar for Sin City. Seriously. Dead serious. I thought it was the best supporting actor performance of the year.
Ever.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he'll win like a Commie Award. This is some kind of comic book thing.
We'll give him a Commie.
I've got a radio psychic on who I think is the next to crash and burn all the way down. Take his own life.
Radio psychic. Radio psychic.
It's this
radio psychic. Radio psychic. Radio psychic.
I know it is.
I know right now that beautiful women are crying because Fez is getting taunted a little bit.
It's Eminem is not going to come out of this downward spiral, and we may see a Kurt Cobain. We will see a Kurt Cobain here.
Shoot himself in the head?
Yeah. He's going to take himself out.
I only wish, if you're right about that, Fez, why couldn't he have done that before the whole Slim Shady thing? Why couldn't he have done that in 98?
This D12 shooting that just happened.
Who, Proof?
Proof, yeah. They say he is just besides himself. Eminem?
He's what?
Besides himself.
Just beside.
Oh.
You're not besides.
So they said he is just not getting over this. He's in bad shape anyway.
Who would? I mean, your best friend gets murdered. Who would not feel that way?
But this is the icing on the cake for the drug problems that his wife's always talking about him having.
You're like having Rona Barrett in here. You're just so gossipy. All right, let me check with you, Earl. Earl, you may be giving me hand signals, but I can't see a damn thing today. It's all glare. Eminem going to kill himself?
I think he might have another drug episode, but I don't think he'll actually kill himself.
So Fez is a liar.
No, I'm not saying he's a liar. Just like, obviously,
you're down to a 4.
Obviously,
when you were saying that, Fez, I see him doing the universal jerk-off move. Like, while you're talking, he's looking. Now he's.
Oh, really, Earl?
Now he's shaking his head. No. What? All right, Radio Shark wants to say something to us. What's happening, Shark? Hey, buddy.
You ever watch the Mickey Mouse Club? Because you know what today is? Today is Wednesday. Anything can happen day.
You like that?
Yeah, thank you very much for having some clips.
Mickey Rourke was also in 1941. He drove Lulu the Tank.
Yeah, that is true. He had a little
cameo.
Yeah, it wasn't a cameo because he hadn't worked at all then. So
Yeah.
he just had a very tiny, almost extra part in 1941.
I had no idea.
I love to see that. I love when you see films and you'll see like guys that are big stars just jump on for a second. Richard Dreyfuss is in The Graduate. When you're watching The Graduate, and at one point Richard Dreyfuss just pops his head out and goes, "You want me to call the cops?" And then he's gone. And it's so funny to see. In the film Ensign Pulver, have you ever seen that, Fez?
No.
Ensign Pulver was what was the play that you did?
Mr. Roberts.
Well, that was the kind of a sequel to Mr. Roberts. So Jack Nicholson was in that for 2 seconds. He just pops out on this boat and yells, when he washes our clothes, they get pulverized. And then he's just gone. You just don't see him again. And you want to go, here in your shitty movie, you got Jack Nicholson, and you're not using him.
You see in Fast Times at Ridgemont High during the football game, you see Nicolas Cage cheering in the stands, standing next to Eric Stoltz. Now, Eric Stoltz was in the movie, but Nicolas Cage was just in the scene for that one time.
There was another scene where he was cooking a burger, and I don't think he talked either.
Oh, really?
He was just really a day player, just a background guy.
And I think if you watch the credits, he's Nick Coppola.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was Nick Coppola once. Because I think I don't know when he changed it, but was fairly early on. Then he goes, "Oh, having a famous director as an uncle sucks."
That was, remember Harrison Ford in Apocalypse Now? Was he already, because he was in American Graffiti,
right?
But it just seems like it was such a weird, small.
It was just a very small role. Now I don't know whether they cut something out of that, but he did almost have a very tiny role. And he was also in another Coppola film. Coppola produced American Graffiti, but he was in that one with Gene Hackman,
The Conversation.
Great movie. Which he was a really, really small part. A working part, but he wasn't being treated like he's, Harrison Ford.
It was a pretty cool part, too.
Yeah.
He was like a mysterious guy. He was very shady.
That's one of the great movies of all time. People don't even know about it. It was an unbelievably great film.
If you watch City Slickers, you see a very young Jake Gyllenhaal.
When he was a little kid, right? He
Yeah.
played the kid in it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I was always amazed about was in Forrest Gump, that the young Forrest Gump was Haley Joel Osment, because we had never heard of him whatsoever before Sixth Sense, and then you go back and it's exactly him.
And people do, those kid roles always happens. I guess if you got a little kid that can work, they just work the hell out of them until they become all gangly and ugly. DB, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke's greatest role of all time, arsonist in Body Heat.
Yeah, he was in Body Heat, and that kind of blew up for him. He only had a one-day role in that. You remember that film, Fez?
No.
With William Hurt? Oh, fucking great movie. Maybe one of the best movies of the 80s. Here is George. George, you're on Ron and Fez.
BAC 2105.
Way to go, old school.
How about in To Kill a Mockingbird? Boo Radley was
Robert Duvall, yeah. And didn't even have a speaking role in that. And I saw Duvall in, I think it was True Grit. He was one of the bad guys that got killed by John Wayne. But again, you barely know who he is. He's in the background. You wouldn't have paid any attention until later on when you find out who he is. 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. Sammy, you're on Ron and Fez. How you doing, buddy?
Robert Duvall was in The Outer Limits also.
Thanks, Pitts. You're really handling him. You're doing a great job with him. Was he working too?
It was up there.
On you?
I put it under next to it that it was him.
Oh, I didn't see, buddy. All right, so that's my bad call. Hi, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
What's up, Ronnie? BAC 276.
Way to go, old school.
Congratulations on the time move, by the way.
Yeah, we're all pretty excited about it. It's really great for us. I slept till 11:15 today.
You guys are missing the great Joaquin Phoenix in Parenthood.
Yeah, he had a fairly substantial role in that, though. It wasn't kind of a walk-on role. He was part of the cast.
Yeah, he was Geary. That's his mom, Diane Weiss, calls him.
You were talking about The Graduate.
Yes, I was.
Norman Fell?
Yeah.
He was in... But I don't know.
Norman Fell never really got big, so who cares?
Well, Mr. Roper?
He played the same part as he played on Mr. Roper. He was the landlord. This guy, we need a landlord. Get a hold of Norman Fell. He's the only one who can pull this off. Marco, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron and Fez.
Yeah.
I got a correction for Eastside Dave.
Okay.
Haley Joel Osment, he played Forrest Gump's kid, not young Forrest Gump.
Well, yeah, okay, but his name was actually Forrest in the movie.
Yeah, but he wasn't the guy who played young Forrest Gump.
All
That's
right.
what he's saying.
The kid with the braces on his legs.
You're down to a 1 right
I'll
now.
apologize.
Yeah. Earl, you're playing it smart. You're playing it safe and playing the clock right now. Let this kid make his own mistakes.
Earl's gone into the prevent.
Bob, you're on Ron and Fez.
You guys have not brought up Mickey Rourke's best movie, The Pope of Greenwich Village.
You know, I rewatched The Pope of Greenwich Village not too long ago. That may be the finest movie of all time.
That's what I'm saying.
Unbelievably good. Yeah, I'm telling you, in the 80s, Mickey Rourke went on a tear there. About 4 or 5 films that I'd put up against Brando.
And then, how did the downslide start? Was it when he wanted to become a boxer?
I don't know. He just got into this really bad movie thing. I think about the time of 9.5 Weeks, he started to kind of get a little odd there. I mean, the only thing you can come up with sexually is make a girl eat a fucking grapefruit. I didn't get that scene at all. Women act like, oh, that's so sexy. He tied her up and made her eat ketchup. That's not going to happen around me, honey. It's going to get way weirder and way more depressing. All right, we're going to take a break. Right back, Ron and Fez.
And they just show this old footage of McClellan saying, I know it wasn't Rove, and I know it wasn't Libby.
Right.
And now he's just left out there to barbecue because he presented that as truth. So he's totally, it's got to be just mind-boggling how long they can just even last in that job.
Well, you don't last too long. You give it a year and a half, 2 years maximum, and then they're just completely burnt out.
So with Tony Snow, it looks like they've brought in Ron Burgundy, anchorman, to be the White House press secretary.
Who wrote fuck on this?
And the interesting thing about this is, since Tony Snow was doing news for Fox, they have found all this stuff that Tony Snow has called President Bush in the past while he was a journalist and a correspondent.
Oh, I never even thought of that before.
So anytime he's leveled any sort of commentary at President Bush through this past White House years, things like an embarrassment, he's called the president. He's called the president impotent.
Now, how does he know about the president sexually?
I think he meant leadership-wise.
Oh, okay.
He's impotent.
I bet he can't even bang his own wife.
He's called him a classic dime store Democrat.
What?
With his policies, he says he might as well be a Democrat. So this is the guy who's going to be speaking for the president now.
Yeah, see, that's the problem of coming from a news background.
Yeah.
Because normally, most of these guys, when they come out, we don't even know who they were before they did this.
Tony Snow, new White House press secretary, has called President Bush a soul tortured with Tourette's.
Wow. Now, do you think the other news people are going to bring that up to him?
Oh, yeah.
Is he still a soul tortured with Tourette's?
Yeah, he's called him the political heir to Norm Crosby.
Wow.
That is a true statement from Tony Snow. So I think he's just going to carry it on in the White House at a briefing. Hey, guess what Captain Idiot did today?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I've checked on some of these other things that Tony Snow has called him during his Fox correspondent days.
Yeah.
George W. Lush.
Wow, that's mean.
Yeah, he's called him that. President Pinhead.
Wow.
The Special Olympian representing Texas.
You got a whole list of these, huh?
Yeah. These are things that Tony Snow's called him. King Tardo the First.
I don't know where you're getting this from.
Chimpy. I don't even know if that's right.
I think I was watching that one when he called him Chimpy.
The Crawford Crotch Sniffer?
His own or others?
I think others is what he meant there.
But he's impotent. God's
favorite waterhead? So I don't know how he's going to go into this job. Dog Humper was on this list. Assface Malloy. Now, I don't even know where that comes from.
Well, the Malloy thing, I think I'm sure about. I think that's his mother's maiden name.
Yeah, and Poopy Pants.
All right, so this is all stuff that Snow has said.
Yeah, so Snow is taking this kind of baggage into his White House press secretary job.
That's going to be a rough one on him, Fez. And you know what? You got to give the guy credit for taking this on. You could not be in a worse position right now of going in there taking the press secretary job. It's not easy.
Oh, yeah, because there's nothing. I mean, they're going to bring up gas prices to you, the
Right.
Katrina victims, the war. There's
none of the stuff that seems to be going well.
Yeah, there's never going to be a good question like, hey, how did the White House Easter egg roll go?
Yeah, that's not going to happen for him.
Another success for this administration?
Hey, Bruce, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, I heard Snow called Bush a retarded redheaded stepchild.
All right, see, that might have been Eastside Dave. He might have said that about Eastside Dave. Hey, Jay, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yeah, he called him a stuck monkey on shore leave.
Oh, see, that's crazy talk, Fez.
Yeah, it's not someone that you really want in your administration.
I don't know if this Snow's the right guy for the job. He might not be at all.
So, Tony Snow from Fox News, the new White House press secretary.
Here is Dan. Dan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Tony Snow said Bush is the #1 bicyclist.
Wow. That one seems like a nice thing.
Yeah, except he's not. He keeps falling off his bike.
So that's the joke?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Tony Snow being undercutting there.
He is. Sarcastic is what he is.
Yeah, fake compliment.
Yeah. That's the worst kind. That's the worst kind you can get. Hi, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Yo, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
I heard that Tony Snow is going to just call him Flubya.
So that's wrong. I don't even know if I want this guy in there, Fez. Ryan, you're on Ron and Fez.
But hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snow said that he's the penultimate president. Next to Nixon.
They don't leave it, do they, Dave? They don't leave it.
That means next to the last.
Joe, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, he called him a Texas-sized tard.
All right. See, some of these is not even witty. It's just mean.
Yeah. Tony Snow goes in there on a bad day to the White House press corps.
Yeah, not easy. And I've been going over some of these gas prices, Fez. Do you know what they said you're going to be paying for a gallon of gas? This is going to be average in the country by August.
I have no idea.
$1 million.
Oh.
$1 million a gallon.
People can't afford that.
They don't have that kind of money. Because then you fill it up and, you're paying $30 million sometimes.
I love what the president said about this on Earth Day in California last Saturday. Talking about summer's coming, gas prices just skyrocketing. He says, it's going to be tough.
Luckily, I'm rich.
It's going to be tough.
Luckily, I'm a wealthy, wealthy man.
All of a sudden, he sounds like Putty from Seinfeld. Yeah, it's going to be a bear.
Dan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, boys?
Hey, buddy.
I heard that guy Snow called Earl a stupid-ass nigger that can't run you guys out of break properly.
Dan,
Yeah.
talk to me. Why say stuff like that?
Did you hear how you guys came out of break?
I didn't hear how we came out of break, but why use that word against Earl?
You came out in mid-conversation. No one even knew what the fuck was going on.
All right, Earl, that is a problem, but I don't like the racial stuff.
Well, for starters, not my fault. I'm on the phone actually now with DC. We're working that out.
Right.
So he's an ass. He's officially an ass.
No, but forget about that. But Earl, and I don't want you calling Earl names like that.
Yeah,
it's not right.
The name call is uncalled for.
Yeah, it's too much. Now, Earl, why wouldn't you let us know that we don't know what the hell, we don't know how to run a radio program?
No, I mean, we're still working that out now. I was unaware of it until literally a few minutes ago.
Right, but then you run a note over to me and Fez. If Fez started into a conversation that people can't follow, then we need to reset the table. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I mean, I just got a bunch of calls, both from Don and from DC about it, and that's what we're trying to...
But why not alert the host?
Well, I was about to, but I'm literally still on the phone with him now.
Right.
Just trying to figure out what happened and how we could fix it.
Oh.
We're big kids, Earl. You can tell us.
Yeah.
You can tell us the bad news.
I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry about not letting you know sooner, but we're still working that out.
But just send a note over, because if it came up, Fez, started mid-conversation, this was an accident, we would just restart the conversation. Or sit quietly. We could just, maybe the idea is to do this. We sit quietly and see how long people can take it. And just see if there's a certain breaking point. I believe we can go an hour and a half without saying a word. But occasionally shuffling papers so, people know we're here.
Right.
And it's kind of almost like mime radio.
Trying to get the illusion of what's going on in this studio.
I think it would be fun. I think it's tryable. And then, Earl, what you could do is have us come back from break at any old time.
Because then it wouldn't matter.
Or are we still in break?
No, we're on the air now.
Are we?
Yes.
How do we know?
Because all anyone knows is I yelled out Crawford Crotch Sniffer for no reason whatsoever.
They thought you were calling me that.
No one has a clue of why I yelled Crawford Crotch Sniffer.
No, you know why we know we're on the air, Fez?
Why?
That on-air light there that's been in every radio studio we've ever been in our careers.
It's got a picture of an erect microphone, and it just lights up.
Beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm not going to lie to you, Fezzy. It's gorgeous. Hey, let me go here to Chris. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, Earl's, I have to say this. Earl is twice the man, 3 times the man he was at NEW, so you gotta, give him a little bit of a break. But these are great commercials you're playing, by the way, right now while we're talking.
Oh, Earl.
Are we in spots?
And also, Bush, I believe that guy Snow called him sheep fucker.
Here's the thing. Let's not try to pick up on that. That's gone. That thing has been put in the wind. Let's call it Tuesday, because Tuesday is going in the wind right now. I think the Skinner boys put it best. But, Earl, you are better than NEW, Earl. Where you were like the East Side Dave of NEW.
Well, no, I wasn't that big a fuck up. I was close, but I wasn't that
Not
big.
even the day that you wouldn't ski down the mountain.
I ski down the mountain. I was barely out of the hospital when
But you
all
were
that
up
happened.
on top of the mountain. All you had to do was push off, and there would have been great radio. I was late for work that day because I'm at my house yelling in the radio, "Ski, Earl! Do it! Show everybody!"
I was not obligated to ski that day, and they just kind of, they didn't force me up the mountain, but I was like, yeah, I'll do, there was a bar night, I'll do the bar night, but I just physically cannot do this.
I have money right now. I've got gambling money to say both Opie and Anthony are sound asleep right about now. Just out. Probably the shoes still on.
Anthony has to be, just from the NyQuil or whatever that guy was taking on his birthday.
Here's the problem. I took a big swig of that on the way in, too. That might be why I'm a little surly today. Whatever happened to Romolar? Do they still have that over-the-counter drug?
I haven't heard of that in a long time.
Where you go out roaming. They got a little codeine in it. All right, anyway, Fez. Earl has these problems. Doesn't mean that we call him racial names. I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah, there has to be a line somewhere of what we could call him.
That'd be like me calling you a newfie, Fez.
Oh, that's just cruel.
Yeah, because that's where your people are from, right?
Yeah, the Polish of Canada.
Or making fun of Eastside Dave for his hair color.
Simply
or
red.
Making fun of Master Poe for his martial arts skills. It's not right. It's not what we do here. Hey, how much longer do we have Pitsy as an intern?
A couple more weeks, actually. How many more weeks? We got 2 weeks left with you?
As long as you want me, because I'm graduating.
Oh, you're the best. He's the best we've ever had. He's the best intern ever. He runs that back area there. He's scheduling Dave. He's scheduling Earl. He's making things happen. And I noticed this about Pitts. So that last party we had, he had his own entourage.
Yeah, moving in a group, took on the Radio Shark, too.
And he's the Vinny Chase of his own gang. Everybody gathers around. They was all saying like this, "Oh, you should have seen him in high school. He was hysterical. Hysterical."
It's like he's moving around with his own press corps.
I'm giving him a 9 today. He's a 9. Earl's dropped down to a 5. And Dave, I've got it a -1. And if he can't get back to at least 0, he will be fired by the end of the show.
Well, he told me he's good for 8 every day.
Yeah. Here's what Fez and I do with our people. And it's why I honestly believe that we are the best managers in the world. We recognize them. Nothing ever for anything good. We recognize the slightest mistake any of them do, then we blow it out of proportion, we write it on a big piece of paper, and we force them to eat it. And I think that's why we are the best managers in radio today.
Well, the nice thing is it doesn't even have to be any sort of tiny slip-up on the show, like a professional slip-up. It could be a physical flaw, some sort of problem with the skin.
Oh, I don't even tell you that I do this, too. Whenever I try to reach Dave and I get his answer machine, I always do this. "Excuse me, Mr. 9 to 5. Why don't you give me a call tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, because I know that's when you're on the clock. And Earl and I will try to fix it until then. So then I'll get a call back, right? Mr. B, I'm definitely not a 9 to 5 guy. I'm Mr. 24 hours. Call me that." But you ever notice you always get the machine with him?
I have always gotten the machine with Eastside Dave.
Yeah.
Always. So I know I'm being screened.
Yeah. And it's got to be the most boring answering message I've ever heard. I'll just let you know his answer message sounds like him on the air. It's just so dull and rambly.
Squeaky?
We were talking about the recognition thing. We were out having a smoke yesterday, and some woman comes over, asks you and Wiki directions, right?
Yeah, she wanted to know where the NBC studios were.
Why wouldn't she?
The GE building.
So, and I'm sitting there smoking. I'm not even. You two guys are talking, and I'm ignoring you, watching all the ladies go by. So she gets her information. She turns around and starts to leave. And all you guys do is tell her, go down to 5th Avenue and make the right. Wiki starts doing this at her. "A thank you? A thank you, perhaps? There's no thank you?" He's screaming at this woman in the middle of 57th Street like she's his kid. Because he didn't get a thank you.
He was so pissed. He wanted, basically, a thank you award ceremony to break out on the sidewalk there.
It's so funny when you do something nice for people, you still want a little something back. You want that recognition.
Yeah, when I flew home on our last vacation,
right?
I got a choice seat on the plane, because you know me, I'm afraid to fly.
Right.
So I'm up front. I think I'm like row number 4 on the aisle. I gotta have the aisle.
Beauty.
So the 2 seats across from me are empty. Mother and 2 small kids get on the plane last second right before we're ready to leave. The 2 kids have the seat across from me. The mother is 21F, all the way in the back, up against the window. She can't sit with her kids.
Right.
So I'm a nervous wreck. I give up my seat so she can sit with her kids, and I take that crappy window seat in the back. And I go back there, and I'm just waiting for something. I'm waiting for the flight attendant to come by and say, listen, that was really nice of you. The captain has offered you a free drink. We're going to take care of your cocktails through the rest of the flight. Something like that.
Right.
I was actually thinking, I'm going to get a voucher for like maybe $25 off a next flight.
I will say this. He called me at home from the runway, and he's like, so definitely this plane's going to be fine. I got a good karma thing going. Tells me this whole long story. But the point of the story eventually is this, Fez. It's not that you did it because you're a nice person, but you want to be called nice. You want to hear thank you.
Yes, I want that recognition. I want it. I crave it.
Now, Seinfeld did an episode on this, that when you let somebody in when you're driving, you expect to wave, and when you don't get to wave, you're really furious. That's dead on. I always feel that because I'm always in to letting people on, but I do want a little acknowledgement in this world.
I like the wave, and if I'm in the car with the person who's supposed to be waving, if I'm like the passenger, and I notice the driver doesn't wave, I'll do the wave. I'll like go out of my way to turn around and wave.
Over wave?
Yeah,
you got to be careful of that, where you're still thanking the guy as time goes by.
Because then it'll just look smart ass.
Yeah, it's just a matter of in the moment. You can't run into him at the next toll booth and then try to give him a big thumbs up. Have you ever done this gimmick where you'll pay for the guy behind you in the toll?
No,
where you
I've
go
never
like,
done
here,
that.
do the person behind me. I've done that before. It was actually in that Mickey Rourke film. It was in Pope of Greenwich Village. So I've done that before. I did that once in North Jersey. Oh, people are waving to me on the Delaware Memorial Bridge. I'm like, what the fuck is that? They were the people whose toll I paid for. They went the entire state of New Jersey as I'm flying down there just to give me the big wave and thank you.
See, I don't think that's too much recognition to ask for.
Well, see, they let me in the line. I was fucked up. I got into the line. Like everybody's waiting for the toll. I was in the Easy Pass thing, but I didn't have an Easy Pass at the time. So I had to really do the embarrassing thing of, instead of waiting in the back, I need the butt to let you through. So I paid their, little gimmick for them. They wouldn't let go of it. They went crazy.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, no, you know what? It was a whole different matter. I just got it wrong. It happened at the Delaware Memorial Bridge, and then they caught me down closer to D.C. But the point is this. When you do something nice, you want a little recognition. It's not too much to ask. It's not too much to ask.
I gotta have it. Like, if I give up a seat, like on a bus or a subway for an elderly person, the thing that will get me the most is if that lady says, oh no, I don't want that seat. Because I have made the big presentation. I've made the big sacrifice. I've gotten up already. I'm already out of the seat where everyone else on the train is looking. And she's gonna turn it down? The recognition I want is for that old lady to plant herself now that I'm up.
Why don't you grab her by the shoulders and push her down into the seat? 866-RON-0-FEZ. 866-RON-0-FEZ. All right, here's one I want, because I like the extra tip, but I'd like to get a, when the person looks at the tip I left for them. They don't have to go overly thanking me, but they have to look a little shocked when they see we're not dealing with a 15 or 18% here. We're looking at 30% tip.
I like
Just look shocked by it.
I like to get the tip acknowledgement, and I will not, and if I'm in a situation where I'm leaving cash on the table, I will not leave until I see them see that cash.
All right, there's another problem I have, too, and this is really, really bad on my part. When I grill, when my wife cooks, we sit down, we eat, it's no big deal. When I'm cooking, I would really like that the entire time of the meal that we keep talking about how delicious it is. I want everybody when I've grilled to be like, I can't believe how good these ribs are. These things are fabulous.
You're the one person I know that appreciates it when I go into my What About Bob?
Yeah. You like that, Fez?
Oh.
Delicious?
Heaven.
You know why?
Why?
It's the extra love I gave it. I gave it extra love is what you're tasting. Yeah. Here is Dennis. Dennis, you're on Ron and Fez.
Buddies.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
I was specifically taught in Catholic school that we have to recognize when someone does something small and nice. You have to say the thank you. You have to do something because otherwise, they're going to be less likely to do it again.
That's a good point. Now,
next time,
you will break Fez of that thing of giving up his seat.
And I don't want to break Fez.
Yeah, and people will go like this. Next time there's going to be a plane, Fez will think to himself, fuck it. Why should I go in the back and be uncomfortable? Nobody cares.
And people get recognized for such terrible things in this world and for just doing things that just don't matter. I think, Fez, what you did is much more important than some bitch on American Idol. And I actually really mean that. I think those small, nice things mean a lot more than someone just singing some crappy song.
All right, thank you very much. They do make the world a better place when we are nicer to each other. That's when people go, well, I won't take care of that server if I don't get the exact... It's not about you. It's about you going, I see that at this moment of time that you are playing the part of server to me. At other points, it'll be my job to serve other people. So let's give each other a nod and wink and say, I appreciate the nicer things in life. I'm not going to be an asshole. And Fez, you haven't been up to this point. I'm worried you're starting to break. I'm worried we're losing nice guy Fez because they won't sit on the train seat or thank you for putting a family back together.
All I wanted on that plane was for the captain to make a simple announcement thanking me.
That's too much.
And trust me, when I was calling you, those thoughts were running through my head.
Because you were whispering and you sounded a little nervous, and when you started acting like you're good karma, I almost said to you, what's the big fucking deal? You gave up a seat. I'm glad I didn't say it now.
You know why I whispered to you?
Yeah.
When I moved to the back of the plane, the two people I was sitting with in that row, I had already told them the story. And so when I'm on the phone telling you the story, I didn't want them to think, God, this asshole just keeps telling this Good Samaritan story over and over again.
At least in your mind, you know that it's... And I had to say to him, that was really nice of you, Fez. All right, I'm going back to watch the basketball game. Pat...
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't get the recognition from you I was hoping for.
I can't. I don't care. I'm not part of that. You went outside of the situation. I wasn't in the plane. I'm living my own life.
I thought Ronnie would be more impressed with this.
Pat, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I was down the shore, down in Jersey, and saw a kid whoosh beside me, and I picked him right up. I mean, I heard him scream, so I picked him up.
How old was the kid?
He was probably about 10 or 11.
All right, so the undertow picked him up?
The undertow got him, and he went right by me, and he said, I can't, I'm too tired. That's what I heard him say. I went, what? And I picked him right. Ron Fez, he grabbed onto me. I just couldn't believe. I mean, I didn't even have to hold him. He was onto me.
Right.
So I turned around to go back to the beach. The parents are running down the beach. I put the kid down there saying thank you. I went, hey, how about a case of Heineken kidding around? Nothing. Got nothing.
That is awful. And see, this is my dream, is to save a kid. I've never had the experience.
I saw them all week long during the, where we're staying. I saw them all week. They wouldn't even look at me for the rest of the week. I'm like, come on, six-pack. How about a six-pack?
Instead of grateful, they're just more embarrassed.
Yeah, that is bad. But wouldn't you love to save a kid? It's a dream of mine. And I'll be walking through New York, and I'll think, if someone threw a baby out a window, I wish I could catch it. I'll be like, if I'm in the mall, I'll go, oh man, I hope there's a situation where I hear some kid yelling, this is not my father. Because I'll be on that fucker so quick. All I want is that opportunity, Fez, to save a kid, and I can't seem to get it.
Oh, all I do is call 911.
I want to beat the hell out of a kid toucher and just have someone catch it on a video phone, and then later on Oprah going, look, I didn't even think. I just did anything anyone would do in that situation. One time I actually saw a family guy and a kid getting in with a sunroof, and I'm like, what if that's not his kid? And I have to jump on top of the car as they're driving away, break open the sunroof, and grab the kid out of there. That would be perfect for me.
The closest I came to that is one time I was in a grocery store, and this shaky guy was with this little girl, and the little girl looked up at me in line and said, doesn't he look like my daddy? So I knew the guy she was with wasn't her dad.
Right.
So I followed him out in the parking lot, jotted down the license plate, and called it in.
That's not saving anyone. That's just ratting. I'm talking about being a hero like the last gentleman we had, which I would have loved to buy him a case of Heineken. And I would have said, my kid's life is worth a case of Heineken. Here you go. And not a penny more. Just a case.
$50 in a case.
Hey, Michelle, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, darling.
I was really entertained the other day when you guys were harassing those kids, asking them what they would say about their parents.
Oh, yeah. They're drunk parents. There's
totally rotten, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
My thought here is every time you go into a store in the tri-state area, people don't say thank you, have a nice day, thank you for coming in, but yet you go down south and people are falling all over themselves to thank you for giving them
the business, right?
business.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Some people up north, they just feel like they're doing you a favor, like they're keeping the store open.
Yeah, it seems so.
That's totally it. Like if you're at the checkout, you have so inconvenienced them by getting in their line.
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
You've ruined their day.
Well, they'll talk right over your head. They talk to the other cashier like you're an animal. Like, it's always the same thing, too. When'd you break? And I'm just like, just fucking ring this up.
Sometimes they're having a sandwich sitting there while they're ringing you up.
Yeah, I'm not going to put up with that. I'm going to grab a piece. All right, thanks, Michelle. We're talking about, Wiki made an embarrassing move yesterday because he wants to be thanked for telling somebody where NBC is. He wants people to say to him, we appreciate what you've done.
Earl, you should have seen it. His mouth just dropped open that he didn't get his thank you. I mean, he was really flabbergasted by it.
Tom, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, guys?
Good.
I saved two people's lives while I was a volunteer first aid squad member and never got a thank you.
Yeah. No, is it because they were too freaked out by it, or?
No, well, yeah, at the time they were, but, you figure afterwards they'd say, hey, that guy that pulled me from the burning car, who was he? At least catch up with me and say thank you for saving my life.
Yeah.
That was one. The other, I gave the kid CPR. He was in a head-on accident and never heard from him again. Brought him back and saved his life. Never heard from him again.
You expect to get a card, something, thanks for saving my life.
Well, you expect somebody to call up and say, hey, I'm alive because of you.
Right.
Nothing.
I wonder how many people have to deal with that, like lifeguards and all. I mean, because, when you're a lifeguard, you're going in that water, you're pretty much risking your life to pull somebody out. Should that person show back up later? Hey, thank you. I'm sure you give them. I can imagine that when you're just pulled out of the water, you're a mixture of in shock, probably a little bit embarrassed, whatever. I can understand at that point where you're not going, thank you so much. But a day or two passes. You shouldn't show up maybe down there with a couple of $100 for this guy. You tuck it in his trunks. Thank you for everything you did for me.
That doesn't seem like it would be out of the question. Just a nice thank you.
Show up with a picnic basket. I don't know what to get you. I got a couple of different sandwiches in there.
I don't think the picnic basket would work.
Why not? Food always works.
He'd cramp.
Well, he doesn't have to eat it right there. He can take it home with him back to the lifeguard house, and him and all the other lifeguards could sit around and go, that's the nicest person I ever saved. Yeah, you got to go out of your way to be a little bit kind when something nice happens. Because Lord knows everybody goes out of their way to bitch. Everybody goes out of their way to bitch. No one ever tells you, nice, I appreciate it. Thad, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, man, I was just commenting on that stuff. What ticks me off is when you take the time to say thank you to somebody and they go, uh-huh. That's like saying fuck you to me. You take the time to thank them for the job that they did.
So wait, now you need a thank you for a thank you.
Well, no, how about a welcome? You're welcome, or something like that.
Well, hold on. I'm looking up on TV. It looks like Eastside Dave just stole a kid. There is some guy who grabbed a kid that looks exactly like Eastside Dave with a handlebar mustache.
A ginger alert is out.
Thad, we'll discuss your thing. Fez, you feel like now it's a big deal to say you're welcome when someone says thank you?
Yeah, I think anyone who says the thank you should get the you're welcome.
Now you see where we're into the problem for this. We're wasting our time. If you want to hear a thank you, now I owe you, or you're welcome, this is fucking going on all day.
I think that's I think it's an acknowledgement.
I got things to do. You know I got a schedule to keep.
It's 2 seconds.
2 seconds here, another 2 seconds there, and before you know it, I'm losing money. Here's Les you're on Ron and Fez.
I wanted to sit there and say, hi, Ron, hey, Fizz. But, you know what really gets me upset is when you're banging a woman and you're doing a doggone good job, she don't give you a standing applause when it's over with, you know?
Maybe it's not as good as you think.
Well, she sat there and tell you you're good, you know, and you achieve what you needed to achieve, and she got off. And
yeah, but you know what? Sometimes that can get a little too carried away. Instead of a thank you, they want to cuddle, which to me is like acid on my skin. I want no part of that. And then you don't want to bang a chick and then afterwards see her in tears like something special just happened. Then you have to go from that. Seconds after coming, you got to do that. Let's not blow this out of proportion and act like it's a big deal. It's nothing.
Maybe that's where you could just give the you're welcome.
No, because then it makes it feel like you're acknowledging. You want to act like everything that you're feeling right now is false. It's all in your crazy goddamn head. Take it out of there. That's why I like to do the fake name thing, even with hookers.
You give them fake names?
Yes, give everybody a fake name. You're banging a chick and then you just hear this. Oh, Mr. Anderson! Mr. Anderson! You're like, who? Oh, yeah, me. That's right.
That's me.
Yeah. And then I also tell him a fighter pilot.
Captain Anderson, please.
Please. I think I've earned that. I believe I earned that. In the first Iraq War. The easy one. The one we won. So, Fez, maybe you've blown this out of proportion. This last guy that got into the you're welcome thing, he is turning things around for me.
I think it's a natural step, and we all should go with the you're welcomes, too.
Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hi, yeah, I'm from Jersey. I just want to say, I'm the type of guy who says hi to everybody I pass. And if I pass this one old lady, which happened yesterday, I said, hello. She looks at me like I'm a criminal or something. I said, thank you for jerking off on my heart, you old hag. And by the way, your show really sucks. Thanks.
That took a while to get to. So does your call. I don't like the constant hello stuff. Maybe it's because I live in the city, but you can't get into a situation where you're saying hi to everybody.
Well, that can pile up really, really quick.
Yeah. And I also don't want to make small talk in elevators and feel like we're sharing a moment. And I don't like when anybody talks over, like when we're out at a restaurant and they feel the need to, like when I'm on the road or something, people start asking where you're traveling from. You know, where are you heading to? Where are you from? All right, enough of this. I'm in a diner for a reason.
That seems like pioneer days to me, like something that would be said in an Old West saloon.
But you ever notice that when you're on the road and everybody wants to find out where everybody's from and where they're going?
Eastside Dave panics with in-elevator conversation, so I try to strike one up with him while he's there.
Dave, come on in here. I had no idea he had this problem. You've got an elevator conversation phobia?
Yeah, can't happen. It's a scary thing, and I feel like they're going to share the information with the people.
What kind of information?
Well, you know, whatever it could be. If Fez, I think he asked me one time, what my feelings were with American Idol or something like that. And
if it's you and Fez, you're fine on the elevator, alone. But if there's a third person...
There was one other person with a briefcase.
You feel judged.
Because I feel like they're looking at me suspiciously, and that they're going to take that knowledge and use it somehow.
What knowledge?
My opinions of American Idol.
So the fact that you speak on the air and people can take that doesn't bother you. The fact that a person on an elevator could grab one of your opinions, that's the whole world to you.
Well, I feel like elevator opinions are more private,
If we're waiting for the elevator and he's in mid-conversation... When the door opens to get on it, he will stop in the middle of a sentence and not say another word until we're back out of the elevator.
And then we hit the first level, and I'll resume the sentence. It's only about 2 minutes of waiting anyway.
But it could be about the weather, and you just freak.
He just doesn't like it.
It's information.
Are you okay making small talk with people, like at a store or something?
With cab drivers, yes. People at stores, no.
All right, so it may be not just an elevator thing. You have a small talk problem. A lot of people don't like small talk at all.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's something to do with, small places and small talk.
Oh, so maybe you feel like you're already trapped and you're using up oxygen.
Right, and there's no reason.
Are you uncomfortable in an elevator?
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable in an elevator, and I've decided I'm not going to take the elevator anymore. I haven't been taking the elevator in the last 3 or 4 days.
Oh, because we have elevators that really screw up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I got in one, and the door closes twice. It happened. Open and closes twice, and the elevator just sits. It does not move, and you don't know if the door's gonna open that third time, or if you've overplayed it.
Well, yeah, you got to take it up. That's the problem.
No.
How do you get in and take it up? How do you take the steps?
5 floors of walking, Mr. B. That's why I have my nice, comfy sneakers.
Well, where do you take it from?
There's
because I thought there was only when I've taken it was like a fire exit.
When you first come out on the right, there's a staircase that gets you right into the main hallway of the first level, right in front of almost the security desk. And it's you have to like go out of the exit and then go back in, but it's a staircase that goes right up. Try it today.
I don't want to try it, but I do like to know where all the fire exits are.
You want to try?
We're living in the age of terrorism. I hate the fact that, like, when I came here, I went, all right, where's the fire exit? It's way on the other side. You got to update me if there's more than one way out of this place.
How about afterwards we have a staircase party? Like after the show today, me, you, and Mr. W go for the stair. I'm leaving out Earl because he always leaves me out of everything.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you guys are,
Oh, well, we went out for French food?
Yeah.
All right, get some sandwiches. We'll have a beautiful staircase party. We'll go through the whole thing. We'll count the steps.
Finally, a drill.
I don't blame you for being weirded out by these things because they're constantly working on them. Now, this is an odd thing. And who wants to be stuck in an elevator and spend time there because it's hot? And, it's not that it's dangerous, but it's annoying. It's like that tram the other night. Who wants to be stuck like that? I got this storage unit, right? And you can go there 24 hours a day. And it's just like this elevator to take it up. So I go to the guy. Nobody's around here. What happens, if there's a power shortage? Am I going to be stuck here over the course of a weekend? He goes, no. These elevators are, if something happens, even if the power goes out, they are locked in to go right to the first floor and open up. I go, why isn't every elevator like that? Then I'm wondering, maybe this guy lied to me. Maybe he knows that you can't sell a storage place 24 hours and there's no one in the building. Maybe he goes, yeah, it's great, no matter what happens. Because later, what am I going to do, sue him?
He sounded like Superstar.
But
He's going to tell you what you want to hear.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, it does make sense. Why not have I know we have this American inventor, have an elevator, no matter what goes wrong, it returns you to the main floor, it opens up, and everybody's fine.
The technology makes perfect sense. I've never heard of it before.
Now, also, like in a movie, like Die Hard, there's hatches you can open up and get out of the elevator if something goes wrong. I never see that in real life. There's mirrors on our elevators. There's no hatch for you to climb out of.
Yeah, there's no hatch in there.
And they should probably figure
That's a coffin.
They should maybe figure out a way to get rid of the cables, because if the elevator snaps, if the cable snaps, it's automatic death. But maybe if you could create like a sort of hovering elevator, you know what I mean, that just hovers 50 feet, 75 feet, 100 feet, something like that, then you have something because you're getting away from the cables.
A hovercraft elevator.
Stop with the hovercraft. I'm talking about things that we can do today, not in the year 55. All right, here's Brian. Brian, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey, I was a lifeguard for 4 years.
I have my own radio show.
I saved this guy's little girl, and he bought me a case of Jack Daniels, so the appreciation is still out there.
All right, how did you save her?
She was bouncing on the diving board, which she shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right.
And slipped off and smacked her head.
So you were a pool lifeguard?
Yes.
I really wish they had different names than ocean lifeguards. To me, the ocean lifeguard is almost like being a fireman. To me, that's a hero.
Yeah, or like the pool guy, life custodian.
Yeah. A pool lifeguard is more like, let's face it, a kid who has a summer job. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
The waiting police.
You know what? I didn't even think of this. Once, oh God, it was years ago. In a pool, a little girl was drowning, couldn't get her air, and I was standing next to her. So I looked over and I grabbed her when she was underwater. She went down for like the third time. I looked around. I didn't see her mom or her dad around or anything. And right before I pulled her out, I went, well, let's see. I just held her down longer, as long as I could. And I'll tell you something. Those kids, I don't care how young they are, they can scratch and kick underwater where you can get hurt.
Wow, so it wasn't third and final time.
She cut your arm?
Mm-hmm. I'm all right now, though.
That's good to hear.
All right, thank you.
I almost drowned when I was 2 years old. I lived by Newport Beach, California, and my brother left the gate open.
You're a Cali boy?
I was born in Newport Beach, California, yeah.
Can't even imagine.
But I mean, I lived from the age of 3 to New Jersey. It was one of the reasons why we moved from California to New Jersey, to get away from the water.
Yeah, there's no water in New Jersey.
And then we moved to Spring Lake.
So what happened? Your brother, you live on the beach, I guess, right?
Yeah, we lived right on a port, and my brother left the door open of the backyard, and I walked out, and it was literally like a port, like a dock where people keep their boats.
Right.
Something you would see at Jaws.
I wouldn't call that a port, but go ahead.
And I walked off the wood, the plank.
The pier?
The pier.
You grew up a pirate.
The dock. I was thinking of that fucking... I walked off the dock.
Making up names. And they would have these floaty cars. People would get in the floaty cars and go out in the ocean.
Boats?
Yes. And the dogs out there would swim underwater, and you would catch them with a hook.
Fish?
Whatever, if that's what you need. And over top, there would be, flying over your head, they were like rats, but with wings and feathers.
Birds?
Okay, if you want to. So go ahead. So you go walking out.
I fell off the dock and into the water.
Uh-huh.
And my mom was looking around, and she said, what happened? And then she noticed the gate, and she instantly ran out past the gate.
And you were already in the water.
So I was already in the water. Now the water... no, like I was on the bottom.
Yeah.
But the water was only like 3 or 4 feet. I fell in a very shallow way.
That's plenty to drown a 2-year-old.
No, I was. She got me out of the water, and I was totally blue. I had to be driven into an ambulance, or I had to have an ambulance pick me up.
Go Gators with that hair.
And
wow,
the ambulance got me to the hospital, and I had to get like my stomach pumped and everything like that.
I guarantee you, your mother hasn't gotten over this yet.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, that's the scariest story I ever heard. And the odds of her coming out at that time and then going out and finding the one place that you happen to be in, being able to, that is shallow enough that she could see you bobbing down there, I mean, that's a 1,000,000 shot.
It's still talked about a lot in my family because there's some conspiracy that my older brother Mark left the door open because he was the youngest of 3, and then I come along.
Right.
I made it the youngest of 4. I took out his baby glory. So he got pissed off and left the gate open. That was my first near-death experience. I had another one, too.
Well, that's plenty for me today, but that's actually a long shot.
He's known as the Kittner boy in his family.
Mike, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I think your storage guy lied to you.
Does it happen?
No, because what happens is when the fire department turns the fire key, that's when the elevators come down to the first floor. Not when the power goes out.
And that happens that way everywhere?
That's right.
Why not just give a fire key to the custodian here then?
Oh, it's just for the fire department. You're stuck. They just call the fire department and they come along.
That's how they get people out of elevators.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, what happens like when we had the big blackout in New York? They had to drop ropes for people, though.
And they're SOL.
What's SOL?
Shit out of luck.
Oh. So if you are in a blackout, you're stuck. That's what he's saying, most of all.
Oh, because the key's not even going to work.
But I want a separate key for the custodian downstairs. We would never worry.
I want one to wear around my neck.
Well, it's not going to do any good inside. You're going to be outside on the first floor already.
Who's got the key?
Fez, I'm in here. Fez, you take the bathroom key home enough. Everyone hates you here. Tim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Don't tell.
Yeah, what's up, boys?
Hey, buddy.
113.
All right.
And Harry is the bigger motherfucker. Paul's just a big dumb oaf.
That one's shocked. How you doing, Tim?
I'm all right, boys. Yeah. I'm an elevator constructor, New York City, local 1.
Show. Yeah.
And your last caller was correct. The key will bring them down to the first floor and open them up. But East Side had a problem with the cable snapping.
Right. Yeah. That never happens.
even if it were to happen, he said it would be sudden death. That's so untrue.
Why?
You will glide down.
The elevator's like a humongous box.
The car would stop. The car would hit a certain terminal speed, and it would just stop itself. The cables, they don't do anything as far as safety. It's just a bunch of hooey. That's what everybody thinks. That's not the way they work.
Yeah, you
They're
are
designed so that if a maniac with a hatchet hit the power cord, the brakes will come on automatically. The car will stop.
Now, what happens if he had disengaged the brakes before he cut the cables? Then you're
there's never been a case. Here's how you can get hurt on an elevator. The door's open and the elevator isn't there, and you step into a pit. That happens to people. They get killed all the time. So always look at the floor.
If you don't look where you walk, you kind of get what you deserve, and that's a little...
No one deserves to walk out there and step into a hole. It's not like this guy had it coming.
We find that the just punishment for you would be to fall down an elevator shaft.
Hey, Keith, you're on Ron and Fez. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I had an experience a few years back on Half Dome Mountain in Yosemite Park. Well, I saved this little kid's house. We were climbing down that rickety old ladder they got on the side of the mountain there that you get up and down on. This poor little kid was frozen to this ladder. He could not move an inch. His dad had already moved on down ahead of him. So I took about half an hour of my time to bring this poor little kid down off this mountain. Got to the bottom. He's shaking like a leaf, crying. Looks at his dad. His dad looks at me, went, "Yeah, thanks, buddy." Turned around and walked away. What a fucking asshole. I wish I could have just laid this motherfucker out right there.
You should have climbed back up the mountain, took his kid back up there.
I just want to save somebody, and of course have that recorded.
I don't understand what the caller's problem was. The man said thank you.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Fez wanted a big day. Fez wanted a free voucher for giving up a seat.
Yeah.
When you save someone's life, you want to be, like in China, you would be responsible for that life. That person would be in your life forever.
So, in other words, say thank you and then give him like $500.
No, it doesn't have to be money, but you stay in, you keep spreading the news. Oh, there's Fez the hero. Oh, did you hear about Fez Watley? He saved my kid. You just never stop talking about it. You make a big deal out of it. You turn it into legend.
Remember when that fire was in that building? Where was it, Earl? In the Bronx a couple months ago?
Yes.
And they had a couple of videotapes of that guy who caught the baby coming out the window.
That's my dream. That's my dream, to catch a baby.
And then it was next day, it was the mother, the baby, and the hero.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I shouldn't even say next day. Next week.
Here was the great thing, that the fireman hero also had to use his feet a little bit. He couldn't plant because the baby was kind of blowing part in the wind, and like he was like an outfielder. He was underneath of it, and he cups. It was a beautiful grab all the way around. Everybody loved this fireman. I'm watching this thing. I can't stop looking at this fireman. I'm filled with jealousy. I just want to be the guy who catches the baby.
See, if I was in that situation, I would have had to defer to someone else in the crowd.
Because you can't judge a pop fly. And then also, and I'm not trying to hurt his feelings, he's got pan hands. His hands, you don't have soft hands.
The things bounce right off of him. Yeah, if I was in that crowd... And we all knew the baby was coming out the window. The fire was that desperate of a situation.
Right. My dream is to catch the baby, but Willie Montanez style. I'm just catching it off my shoe tops. I'm just catching it right there, right at the last possible second. And then coming up and showing the baby to everybody. I got him. It's still in my glove. All right, Dave, what about you? Do you want to be the catcher, or would you feel more comfortable with somebody else?
Without question, being the catcher, because everyone knows my athletic prowess, and I think I would have...
JV?
JV, yes, but first base.
Earl, would you feel more comfortable with yourself or somebody else?
Oh, I would catch it.
Yeah,
I would definitely catch it.
I'd ask Bernie Williams to step aside. I feel like I'm the best person that can catch the baby.
See, that would be my job. I would be going through the crowd. Who here feels they're the best person to catch the baby?
What if there wasn't a crowd? What if it's just you and them?
Oh, then I'm so...
Why don't you at least hold your shirt out, make a little trampoline out of it?
So I would be so opposite of the hero. I wouldn't even get... There's the guy who tried to save the baby from the burning building. There's the asshole who dropped the baby. I go completely even below citizen.
Let me tell you something. You drop that baby, and you hear that thud of baby skull on the sidewalk, you got to kill yourself. I can't live knowing that sound's going to come up every once in a while, and then you're just reliving it. Either that, or I'd spend all my time trying to catch another baby, just as a way of getting back.
I would see that baby's face before and after in my dreams.
Look, Mr. Poe's freaking out. He has no idea we're going an extra hour. What the hell's going on here? I thought I'd be driving home by now. They changed things on you, Master Poe, but you feel free to go. I know you've had a very long day. I'm sure Fez and I are going to be fine.
Now that we know where the other fire escapes are.
You don't have to worry about a thing, Master Poe.
You mean everyone's safe?
Everybody is safe. And I want you to get plenty of sleep, and you've got to stay on the ball because you got that walk every day now.
The parade route.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think everyone will be safe.
We will be safe, and thank you for your concern.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks, Master Poe.
Master Poe's up early in the morning, Fez. Normally, it's 2 o'clock. He would have been gone by now. I see him looking around going, what the hell's happening?
He didn't understand why we're still on the air. Going to 3 o'clock today in the East, going to high noon on the West Coast.
Don't even notice slightly. Seems like the exact same show to me. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Ron and Fez. What's this song, Earl?
This is Regret by New Order.
Is this off your new album, Earl?
It's my way of life.
How come you never
regret?
How come you never play any more of that Mike the Teacher spacey stuff?
Good, no good.
Stop. That would be perfect bumper music for us.
Oh, we could definitely do that.
All right, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ.
Ricky Williams not going to play in the NFL for the 2006 season.
What happened? Did you see a kite and start chasing it?
No, this is his latest suspension for abusing the NFL's substance abuse policy.
And they won't tell us what drug it is, right?
No, just a substance. That's all we know. It could be Doritos. That's a substance.
Personally, if a guy's doing steroids, I think he should be out. But if he's just smoking pot, it's not exactly going to make him a better football player.
So this is the 4th time for Ricky Williams violating the policy. So his entire 2006 season is done.
He is one of those guys, too, that's going to end up in the end of his career with no money or owing money. One of those guys like, how can you have had the career that you had and sign those contracts and still end up with nothing?
Well, he owed money because he had to give the bonus back. That's the only reason why he came back to football.
Right.
So he was already a couple of mil in the hole, and now he's suspended, I believe, without pay.
He's going to be a greeter in Atlantic City.
I don't even know if he's known enough. You've got to be somewhat known before you can pull that off.
And this really should have been a highlight season for the Dolphins. They came on strong. They won their last 5 at the end of last season. They got Dante Culpepper, quarterback, and this should have been a good year.
Yeah, Dante got to be upset about this as well, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't had, they're always going back. When you're in Miami, people talk about 72 like it was yesterday. They live for those early Dolphins, and you will run into people, and that's all they talk about to this day. And talk about greeters. Every guy on that team from the 70s is doing some kind of hardware commercial, some beer night with them.
Just making a living off of that undefeated year.
Well, the 1970s pro football, to me, that was the high water mark of pro football. With the Dolphins, the Steelers, Oakland Raiders, Dallas Cowboys, what was it, Minnesota Vikings were also big teams then.
Yeah.
Well, it just seemed like it was a real high water mark, best era football
Even
ever.
the Chiefs were very good, too.
Chiefs, I always think of more of 1960s. That's when they had their Len Dawson thing, which I might even put as the second best decade. I might sit around and just rank every decade after the show today. What do you think the best decade of pro football was, Fez?
I always like one more, the 80s.
80s, you had some great teams there. The Niners team, which might be the all-time greatest franchise, and then that really fun Chicago Bears team. But it didn't seem like there was as many great teams. As we started to get into the parity during the 80s. And in the 70s, you had no parity. You were either great or you just sucked ass. Here is Bruce. Bruce, you're on the Ron and Fez show. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, hey, buddies. How you doing? That deal with Ricky Williams is, it's not marijuana this time. On the ESPN site, I think I read that it said an undisclosed substance other than marijuana. And it really sucks. I'm a Miami fan. Go ahead and fucking laugh at that.
Benz.
Yeah, but I'm in fucking Louisiana. What am I going to do? Like the fucking Saints, you know?
Yeah, I do. I really do think you should stick with your basic team, your close team. Here comes Dave in here. Dave, what's your all-time era for football?
I would say it would be the mid-'80s to the mid-'90s. That 10 years.
No, that's wrong. You got to pick one decade.
Okay.
You can't pick half and half. We're forced into the time limit that God gave us. Those decades.
All right, God gave us those?
I can't hear best time ever in football, 77 to 87. It's just crazy.
It was
talk.
10 years.
I know, but
gave me a decade.
That's not a decade. No, people go back, oh, I love 80s music. They don't go, I like half 80s and early 90s music. That's crazy talk.
Okay, I'll revamp mine and go to the 90s because those Cowboy teams of the early 90s were really fun. Steve Young then came around, and then Brett Favre, who everyone loves, and that was his run. And then Elway ends the decade by getting his 2 rings. That was a really fucking solid decade.
You know what? It's better than I even thought. When you started to put it together, I started to like it a lot more.
And then you throw in Barry Sanders, too.
What did you ever do?
Barry was there, and Emmitt Smith, you know.
Barry Sanders.
Emmitt Smith, all-time rusher, his prime was in the 90s.
Yeah, you're true. But see, Emmitt Smith to me is going to be remembered where Barry Smith could run right up to the playoffs and then he couldn't anymore. He hit a wall called the playoffs. Still, great teams there. So really great teams. Still don't think it matches up against the 70s. Here is Tom. Tom, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, buddy? Tom, go ahead, buddy. Tom, I'm trying to take your call. Yeah, you're talking about baseball. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I think the 70s there, from 70 to 1980, baseball was really good. Basically because the players actually stayed their ass in one team.
Yeah, that
they didn't
did
hop
make
around like they do.
Yeah,
you know?
I very good point. You got a phone bad, so I'll pick it up from here. He has a good point. When you had the big red machine in those days, they stayed together, and that was kind of exciting. And that was a pretty great era of baseball. Dodgers, Yankees, the Phils had just coming up. There was a lot of Pittsburgh Pirates, the We Are Family.
The Oakland A's.
Oakland A's were maybe the best baseball team of all time.
But they did get ruined by free agency. Let's not forget.
Well, but the reason why there was free agency, they had an owner that was so awful, that was so bad. He wanted to pay these guys by the hour, and they had to finally say to him, you can't do that.
Yeah, he was a shithole.
Yeah, but those were great teams on the field. Those Oakland A's teams were phenomenal.
Well, you had Reggie, and then Catfish started on that team, and their third baseman, what was his name? Sal Brando.
Sal Bando was an unbelievable player. And they were the team, they were actually used to beat the Reds, right? Mm-hmm. The Reds had to wait till that team was pulling apart before they could
they beat
start
the
winning
Reds.
theirs. Yeah. 70s could be the great era for baseball.
And that Red Sox, even though I'm a Yankees fan, that Red Sox-Reds series of 75
all-time best.
Is probably the best series ever.
At least the best of modern times. Pitsy, you got a call on this one?
I would say for baseball it was the 90s. Even without the strike, I'm going to omit that.
I hate the strike, though.
I know. It does ruin it a little bit, but, I mean, you had a dynasty again with the Yankees. You had the McGuire-Sosa chase, which basically brought baseball back from the strike.
When did that end? 99?
98.
98 is when that all took place?
Yeah.
98, yeah.
Yeah, now, but my problem is now you look back on that, it's fake. It was a fake thing. It's like watching wrestling.
It's tough.
Like, no one sits around and talks about those two ball players like they were one of the best. They talk about them as being disappointments.
Well, McGuire ruined it for himself at the hearings in the Senate.
Fucking James Fry, crybaby of baseball, just sobbing your ass off instead of sitting up like a man. Go, maybe I ate some things I can't remember. You remember what you ate yesterday? It's very difficult.
I'm not here to talk about the past.
Right. You big crybaby.
But if you were a part of that, it was amazing just to watch that.
Yeah. And, of course, the 93 Phillies, the team that almost... Ah, jeez.
Great team. 6 games.
Yeah.
We're this close.
Yeah, I know, man. And to me, when you got those kind of beards and you're really sporting a Kentucky waterfall, I mean, the hair was just flying behind them.
You know what?
Like a bunch of greasers.
Did Wild Thing have to move out of the area after that?
Yeah. He did. He had to leave. Well, they burned his house down and killed his dog. But, I mean, he did just lay up a peach up there.
You know, that 93 Red Sox team, 93 Phillies team, when you think about it, was like the 2004 Red Sox team that won it. You know what I mean? Because the Red Sox were the quote-unquote, the idiots,
dirty,
the beards, the dirty thing.
Yeah.
So they really stole that whole idea from the 93 Phils.
They did. And they finished it. Here is Cue Ball. You're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Yeah.
The 70s was definitely the best, at least from my opinion, but I guess it depends how old you are. You ask an older guy, he might say the 60s, but really, nowadays, you can't get with a team because next season, shit, they're all gone.
You know, you really do have a good point. That I mean, we're leaving out the 40s and 50s when there was really great teams. Now, boxing, where would you go best era boxing? Earl?
Easily. 70s heavyweight division was at the pinnacle of the sport. It was, you had Ali, you had Frazier, you had Foreman, you had Norton.
I don't hear you bringing up Ernie Shavers for any reason. Now, why would you leave out Ernie Shavers?
Even the lower tier guys like Ernie Shavers, Oscar Bonavera, Jerry Quarry. Even Quarry was a quality heavyweight.
Oh, Quarry was great. Although I would consider him probably a little more of the 60s. But here's the thing. 80s for the smaller guys. The middle weights in the 80s was phenomenal. Phenomenal fights. And people, we don't have any fights that everybody's talking about. You used to talk about those fights like it was the Super Bowl. People went crazy about them. Hey, Bobby, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, boys, what's going on?
Hey, man.
Hey, listen, Eastside Dave, you got to be crazy talking about the Red Sox and Reds being the best World Series ever. Yeah. It's got to be the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins.
I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was great, but no one's going to remember it. It didn't have the big personalities. And I'm telling you, for that Reds World Series, turn on a TV, any spring training, and you're forced to relive it. You're watching it all over again every single time.
Every game had some type of drama, had some type of twist and turn to it.
And the Hall of Famers that played on both sides.
Yeah, the Reds alone had 4 Hall of Famers in the lineup.
4? More
At
than
least
that.
4.
More than that.
No, yeah.
100.
P. Rose,
all of
bench, Joe Morgan, Tony Perez got in the Hall of Fame.
All right, that's 4.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Mickey Rourke played on that team.
Concepcion?
I don't think did Concepcion get in?
No, actually, it was more than 4 if you count Sparky. Sparky's in the Hall
I'm
of
not
Fame.
going to count Sparky. I don't even like to see guys coaching. No, I don't like to see guys coaching their way into the Hall. It just annoys me. And don't even bring up announcers. That fucking infuriates me. Steve, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah.
Just want to say that probably for hockey, the 80s have to be the best decade.
Best decade for hockey.
Yeah.
I don't know. The 70s had the Broad Street Bullies and also had the Long Island team. That was a pretty exciting time.
Hockey, because Gretzky was their Jordan.
Yeah.
And Jordan's NBA is probably the most popular 90s. That's probably the most popular basketball.
I don't know. I still think the 80s, if I had to think about it, with the Magic Bird thing, that was really, really exciting times. Where with Jordan, you only had the one star in the league.
I like the 80s better, but if you're talking about ratings, Jordan...
No one's talking about ratings.
All right, well, then the 80s, hands down. Because Magic... and
if we want to talk about ratings, let's give everything to the 50s. They used to rate 100.
Also, got to remember those. You had the Houston Rockets were very good with the Twin Towers in the '80s, and I
Sixers
think
too.
But I mean, we
Atlanta
really are
Hawks.
only acting like there's 40 years of sports. So we're really not going back farther.
Well, you can't go back to when James Naismith was
Why
playing
not?
basketball.
I mean, if there is the entire lifetime of something, that's like saying, well, I'm not going to go back to George Washington if I'm picking best president. He was wearing a wig. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, even the Chamberlain teams from the late '60s, mid '50s, early '60s with the Philadelphia.
Yeah, when they played with the Warriors and all that.
Yeah,
and they went on with the 76ers.
Yeah, and those
There's
wars
some
with the
people
Celtics.
that say that 67 Sixers team was the best of all time.
But if you look at
At
those,
least Hal Greer told me that.
if you look at those 1950s teams, it's not basketball. I mean, it's
what about
just
football?
Shitty stuff.
When anyone talks about the best game in football, 58. They're bringing up the Giants Colts. And that's no one's ever to this day tried to act like, well, this game was better than that game in 58. That had to be one goddamn game that people almost 50 years later are still talking about it. And it ended, what, like 7-0? It wasn't like it was a shootout
and then
like
overtime.
we're used to now.
I want to say 17-10.
Why? Everything you say is wrong. That's the problem with listening to you.
He wants to say 4.
Yeah.
More than 4.
Tony, you're on Ron and Fez.
Brothers, I got to think the 70s for basketball. I mean, you had Dr. J, you had Bad News Barnes, all the quality players, Kareem, aces.
Yeah, there was. I mean, the Lakers had a nice run there too before even Magic in the 70s. So
yeah. Again, a starting five loaded with Hall of Famers. You had Jerry West. You had Chamberlain.
That was a time for weird teams because the 70s also had the Seattle Supersonics won a championship in the 70s under Rick Barry, with Rick Barry's leadership, and my hero Bill Walton won a championship with the Portland Trailblazers in the 70s. So that was kind of a weird era.
Here is why he loves Walton. Of Walton and Holyfield.
He's his white Holyfield.
His
real dad.
Constantly.
I think he's awesome. He's a great broadcaster, too, and people hate him.
Yeah, I do. I hate him.
Oh.
To me, I'm not a deadhead. Here's Chris. Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, fellas, I think as far as pro football goes, it's the 60s because you had so many big changes. In the 60s, football basically overtook baseball as a national pastime, and the Packer dynasties.
I really think that you had to go all the way to the 70s before it was a slam dunk that it was the number one sport. In the 70s,
absolutely.
In the 60s, they were debating it. It came on very strong in the 60s. By the 70s, I think the contest was over and it all belonged to football.
Yeah, and the 60s had great teams, though. You had the Packers, you had the Rams with the fearsome foursome.
Yeah.
You had the Chicago Bears with Butkus and Sayers.
And really, if you're going to talk about the best, you can't take those Packers 60s teams because you only give them the Super Bowl, but then they had won the NFL championship like 4 times or something like that before that.
The Cleveland Brown teams.
Yeah, with Jim
Brown. And
were they the only team ever to name themselves after the halfback. Where Chicago should have been the Chicago Jordans in the 90s. Let's just name the team the Jordans. Because remember back then when you had tickets, you would say, I got tickets to go see Jordan. You would never say, I got tickets to see the Bulls. That would be the big deal.
I think they used to say that in L.A. too. Like, I have tickets to see Magic. Because he was
Kareem's nobody. Kareem's nobody to you.
Well, I think they were doing a double entendre of, it's like going to see Magic the player, but also
Never happened.
we're going to see Magic on the basketball court.
They called it Showtime, but they didn't call it Magic. They come up with the name Showtime.
I was thinking Showtime.
With the NBA playoffs going on now, I see Scottie Pippen doing commentary. They have cleaned him up. He doesn't look nearly as Alice the Goonish as he used to.
Well, he put on some weight. He filled out a little bit.
Yeah.
But Pippen was phenomenal. He was such a great player. Just overshadowed because of who he was playing next to. But I don't think Jordan won that many championships without him.
Yeah, but then when he went on his own, he really didn't do much.
Well, his prime was where it happened. I mean, there's a lot of guys that in basketball. I mean, Penny Hardaway's still playing now, but there was a small period of time.
Like 4 years.
Yeah, where he was Magic Johnson. And now he's still hanging around a decade after that, where people don't even talk about him, but he had the commercials and everything.
Little Penny, that was a good era.
Yeah, I mean, he was huge. I mean, the injuries absolutely killed his career. People forget, like, he was on the Knicks for a couple of years, and nobody even cared
He's
about
been a
it.
journeyman ever since.
Yeah, but when he lost Shaq is basically when he lost his stuff, too, because he only played with Shaq 2 or 3 years, I'm not sure. But
it was something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
and then when Shaq left, it was just all downhill for him.
Yeah, it was all ugly. And then he got hurt and all kinds of shit happened. I don't know. I can't get into his head.
Grant Hill was like that, too.
Yeah.
Next Jordan. That was a time in NBA where everyone was the next Jordan.
Right.
It was Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway. Then they threw it on Kobe and Vince Carter. And now it's LeBron's little thing to go with.
Well, yeah, LeBron... I think the whole league is on his shoulders right now, let's face it. Everybody's expecting him to do the right thing over the next 10 years, yeah.
Lost in overtime last night.
I know.
Series tied.
I know.
Upset about that.
Well, you know, I don't think you can go much further than this first one anyway. Hey, Jason, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
Hey, what about the Celtics in the 80s, the Bruins in the 80s? Boston was it in the 80s.
I guess you're from Boston, right?
Oh, yeah.
It feels to you like it's that, but the rest of the people saw all the games. We saw other things besides Boston then. And Celtics, if you had to pick the team of the 80s for basketball, you got to give it to the Lakers over the Celtics. I hate to do it.
Yeah, because it's 5 championships to 3.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Believe me, I like white people as much as anybody, but you really only got to go by the rings.
Shouldn't white count for something?
It does. That's why we brought it up at all.
Oh.
That's why they're in the conversation, rather than this is a slam dunk.
Kevin McHale and Larry Bird and Dennis Johnson. The ugliest team in the history of the NBA.
Fez went and bought Kevin McHale's shoulders on eBay. He's sporting them now.
I've lost some weight, and for some reason, just upper body weight.
Why don't you do this, Fez? Go out and tell all the beautiful women I made you could cry. I ruined my reputation.
I don't have to tell them.
Hey, Catfish, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys, I gotta say with boxing, it's got to be the 80s. You know, I mean, you had so many great boxers. You know, Boom Boom Mancini.
Yeah, the smaller guys ran the 80s. There's no doubt about it. But, we can't forget the fact that in between Ali and Mike Tyson, the heavyweight division was not exciting that entire time. And yes, Larry Holmes, I'm talking directly to you. I know you listen to the show. I know that you did everything you could. You just didn't have the personality to make us care. Nobody wants to see someone jabbed to death. It just isn't exciting. It wasn't exciting. The smaller divisions were unbelievably exciting in the 80s.
The 90s started out so strong with an unstoppable Mike Tyson. You saw people like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield were coming up, and then fell apart, like after the rape.
Well, even when Tyson got knocked out, it seemed like no one was really paying attention.
And you had that whole weird Riddick Bowe time.
Yeah, I thought it was very sloppy.
He threw the championship belt into a garbage can.
Yeah, it was a very
WWF.
Yeah, it was very ugly. It was. I have to disagree with the '90s feeling. That was the beginning of the end, and now people aren't paying attention to boxing the way they should.
What about the '50s? I mean, because you did have Joe Louis was still boxing '50s, and like you said, the smaller guys. You had the Jake LaMotta and all that stuff.
Yeah. I gotta say, the worst era there, the worst decade for boxing was the 30s, and that's just from watching Cinderella Man.
Well, that was like, what, the Jack Dempsey era, too, though?
Yeah, Max Baer Sr.
I mean, that's when people... It was the only sport. You know what I mean? Like, it was the only real headline sport, the only national sport. And they would get like, well, did you hear 150,000 people show up? And there was no big screen. You were just sitting up in the back of this place. Yeah, I think somebody hit someone down there. They must have just loved to see people get hurt in those days.
And the other thing was boxing was in a way weird, like wrestling. It was on prime time Friday and Saturday nights. It was like the place to
where
be.
Everybody knew every single name.
Have you ever seen any of those clips of when Jack Johnson boxed, like on PBS or something, the big black heavyweight championship? Yeah. And they didn't have, if the guy was on the mat, you could still punch him. So if the guy was trying to get up on one knee, you saw Jack Johnson just walk over and hit him right in the back of the head.
It's like they never really had the rules completely set up in those days.
It was so barbaric. It was unbelievable. And the guy could get knocked down like 30 times and would, during the fight.
At one point, too, like a round was if a guy got knocked down and then he got back up, end of the round. So when you hear about a lot of those rounds going to 80, 90 rounds, that's what was happening. There would be 65 knockdowns in one of these fights.
The bell constantly ringing.
Yeah, I think one of the Jack Johnson fights went like 32 rounds in the heat. It was like in the middle of
they were fighting in Mexico where they didn't mind a black champion. He had to go to the worst places just to have a fight.
Yeah, he went to Cuba, and it was like 110 degrees out.
Because in those days, it was like this. Well, we've got a fight lined up. You can make a lot of money if your town puts it on. Here's the problem. What if the black guy wins? How's that going to make us feel? Anyway, we cannot have the black guy win. And some of those fights, they would just go out on a barge, start swinging at each other on a boat. Here is Steve. Steve, you're on Ron and Fez. How are you, pal?
Big ass 2470.
Hey, buddy, what's happening?
Dave was saying that the Red Sox-Reds World Series is the best World Series, but he wasn't even born when it was played.
Yeah, but I've seen
Everybody's got ESPN.
ESPN Classic is what I live by.
And then you read about all these things, too, of course. And we haven't, none of us really see Jack Dempsey fight, but no one's ever going to say, well, he was no good. You read these things and you say to yourself, Marciano seemed like he was a scrapper. When you're a little kid, you love to read about the really old sports guys.
My favorite book of all time is those old turn-of-the-century baseball stars like Ty Cobb and Christy Mathewson and Honus Wagner and stuff like that. I have all their stats memorized and everything.
Sure you do.
367 lifetime for Ty Cobb.
That's it? All right, what did he hit in 1907? How many stolen bases lifetime?
870.
You don't have anything memorized. You have one stat memorized.
Wasn't that your JV average, too?
Everything is 367.
He hopes that we're so impressed that we'll just be stymied and no one will do a follow-up question.
All right, Fez, I know your expertise, college football. Where was the best era?
The best era of college football? I gotta say the 80s. Where you had, huge Miami teams, Notre Dame teams, Ohio State, Michigan. Yeah, I'm going to go to the 80s.
I think most people, if you really did it, you would go back even 50s and pre, because college football was so much bigger than pro football in those days. College football was the big sport. So when you go back to those old Notre Dame teams and Army would have huge teams. Here is Russ. Russ, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, pal.
I'm going to go with the 70s in college football with Nebraska, Oklahoma, teams like that. The best college football team ever, 95 Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah, Nebraska in the 70s, Oklahoma, those teams didn't even throw passes. To me, it didn't even look like football. It was just handoff, constant handoffs.
That was the cloud of dust.
Yeah. Now all those teams are pretty much opened up into a pro-style offense, right, Fez?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's got to do that.
They were still running a wishbone in the 70s. It's the craziest thing that ever happened to football.
I don't think Nebraska's recruiting black players yet, but other than that.
What was the national championship like back then? Since it's such a controversy now, was it just a game? Was there all these bowl games involved in it?
Well, basically, back then, you only had what is now called the major bowls. You didn't have 25 bowl games. There would be 7, 8 at the most in the 4 major bowls.
I remember one year, I think it was Miami beat Nebraska. They were ranked 4th.
Right.
And Nebraska was ranked number 1. It was one of those deals. If you beat the number 1 team, you were the national champion.
Right. Yeah. It would be that way. But see, one of the problems was you were locked into the Rose Bowl if you played in either one of those leagues. It wasn't like, we're going to get more money to go over and play the number 1. You were just stuck with the Rose Bowl, and there was nothing you could do about it.
The Big Ten and the Pac-10 had to go to the Rose Bowl. The SEC had to go to the Sugar Bowl.
But that's what ruins college football now, because I love watching college football, but once you get to the end of December, January, it's all controversy. There's never just a game. This year they finally had it since the BCS was instated, but every year it seems like there's always some bullshit going on where you can't determine who the real national championship is.
And even then there was some controversy because, who was it? Louisiana thought they had should have been in, or Alabama. Somebody at the end who ended up losing anyway
Right.
was crying like babies. Because you could normally come up with 3 undefeated teams by the end of the year.
Wasn't there a year? There was a year where Nixon sponsored, like he said, like Ohio State or somebody's the best team in the land, and Penn State was like everyone really thought Penn State was the real team, and they gave it to the other team.
He had Penn State 100% drafted. The entire team was drafted. Nixon was so mad at him. I think Penn State went undefeated like 3 times and didn't become national championships between like the 60s and early 80s. There was 3 times that they ran the table and then got nothing for it.
Yeah, it would just come out in the paper, basically.
Yeah.
Here's who we're giving it to.
Was that Kerry Collins' team undefeated, or did they have a loss? Because they proclaimed that they were national champions. They won the Rose Bowl, but they didn't get the national championship. I think it was in the mid-'90s.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure, but it's happened to Penn State, I think, more than anybody else. Here's Mark. Mark, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, well, let me just start off by saying hello, Ron and Nader and Fezmeister.
Hey, pal.
Enjoy your guys' show there.
Thanks, man.
You know, I think Ricky Williams' career, I think he had to just hang it up and look into something else, like maybe a greeter at the Walmart store. The other thing is, what is wrong with these players nowadays, and not just football, but, you know, all the sports leagues? They sign a contract, they get all this big money, and then they go and do something stupid like rape some girl or...
Well, it's always been that way. You've always had problems. And the main reason is this. You're really dealing with kids. You're dealing with kids who don't realize that there's a finite amount of time. Look at Rodriguez walking through here. She is as tough as nails, wearing a leather jacket.
Oh gosh, she looks like she could clear the courtroom. Like she'd be throwing bailiffs off of her.
And at the same time, nobody's hotter than her today. Nobody's hotter than a girl who goes, give me fucking 5 days. I'll do it standing on my head.
There's a lot of women like that on my subway to Queens. Look just like her. Tough.
Why do you got to be a racist? Just a Spanish racist.
Well, I mean, yeah, they are.
You know,
Spanish.
Johnny's here, so everyone you said they're just like her.
Sorry,
God,
Johnny.
there's something's wrong with you. I see so many guys that remind me of Earl all over Harlem.
Too many.
I just feel like, and I'll just go, Earl, who do we have booked tomorrow? So difficult. So it's always been like that. It only feels like today players fuck up, but it's been like that since the beginning of sports. Always has been. Wasting talent. It's what the whole thing has been about.
And they've always been concerned about money. People who think that, you know, baseball have always been pure are wrong. They tried several times in the early 1900s to get their own players' league.
Sure.
Because the owners weren't paying them enough money. Joe D held out. Sandy Koufax held out. All these guys held out. So
well, Sandy Koufax isn't even playing now. That's how committed he is to the players' league. I haven't seen him play since the 60s.
How long can he last in this holdout?
Fez, we're talking about sports and we're talking about old school. Of course, we're going to hear from the Blowhard. What's happening, buddy?
Hello, boys.
Hey, Blowhard.
Hey, Fezzy. The one factor that nobody's talking about in these sports by decade, you have to realize that expansion really watered down the game.
It has, baseball in particular.
And free agency. And with the NFL, you have to say that it really took off after the merger.
Right, it's like 60s.
So basically, I agree that the 70s is probably... I would take any Steeler, the best Steeler team versus any 49er team in a second.
I would love to see that game. I would
love to see it because I think the Steelers, if you compile an all-star team versus the Niners, and as time goes on in the NFL, the game is still watered down. And baseball, let's face it, the 60s was where it's at. The 60s...
no.
Why are you laughing at that?
The 60s was a game. At the 60s, the players stayed. Every year we knew who was going to be starting. You had great players. You had Mays, Mantle. You had Aaron.
Their prime was more in the 50s. When you say
early 60s to mid 60s, they were still kicking ass. You had great pitching. The pitching nowadays is crap. You can't even name the pitching staff of the good teams anymore because pitching doesn't exist. It's all watered down due to expansion, and there's too many teams, and you can't get the great Baltimore Oriole rotation like McNally and Cuellar and Pat Dobson, etc. You're not going to have that. In the old days, you knew who was playing for your team. You knew the superstars, and there were much more better players, I have to say, back in the 60s. Just look at the All-Star rosters. It's just all about the game was a different game, and
The
it was a
60s,
better game.
they also raised the mound and stuff, too.
You also got to remember, but the expansion started in the 60s with the Mets and with the Colt 45s, which became the Houston Astros.
He loves.
And then
he loves expansion.
And then later on, I think it was the Twins came into the league, or they moved from Washington. But the expansion started in the 60s. So when you say the watered down process began
watered
then?
down. Back then, when you didn't have as many teams, and you didn't have, this watered down. Look, you talk about the Washington Senators. They shut down, and then it became what? They moved, and I mean.
But he's right when he says it was the beginning of the end. When
baseball now, when they added AstroTurf, when they added dome stadiums, it just ruined the game.
70s for
and
you.
A lot of these players who played on AstroTurf, you're adding 10 points to your average at least.
Yeah, but you're also destroying their knees and everything else,
Exactly.
so it's not
And
like
same
the
in
best
football.
thing. Yeah.
How bad was that field in Philadelphia where the players were getting crippled every season?
I thought it was fine. I went out and walked it myself, and I thought it was ready.
Well, then you, my friend, are a fan of rollerball.
Why wouldn't I be? And murder ball, for that matter. Yeah.
And, in the NBA, back in the days of the center, back in, maybe from the 60s, from the Bill Russell versus Chamberlain, it doesn't get any better than that. Willis Reed, Lou Alcindor.
Yeah, great. Look at hold on. There's that Michelle Rodriguez. She's unbelievable. God, she's so gorgeous too.
See her dress?
Yeah.
Oh, look, a nice coat too.
She's making a shiv at this point.
I bet being with her, you would kind of feel a little gay, but you'd be able to get away with it because she's so tough.
And she looks furious.
Yeah.
I think the judge is not going to have the guts to give her the full 5 days.
Oh, she got 5 days already, though. Right?
Oh, okay.
I thought that's what happened. She already picked it. So it's like yesterday's news. All right, Blowhard, so...
Listen, one last point.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy who could cover Jordan easily, Oscar Robertson.
All right, we were going to go over this. Give me your all-time best. Baseball was the 60s. Football was what era?
I'd say 70s.
Basketball?
Because of the merger.
Basketball?
60s.
Boxing?
70s.
Hockey?
That's a tough one because the Canadians dominated so much. But I would say, for me, I got to be fair. I mean, I started watching hockey in the mid-'60s, late '60s. So, I guess it all depends on what you really watched. But for quality of play, when you had less teams, I would say in hockey the 60s.
All right, thanks a lot, Blowhard.
Have a good day, guys.
Peace. 866 Ron Zero Fez. 866 Ron Zero Fez. Blowhard knows the sports, Fezzy.
He really does.
He doesn't know anything about I think he would make a great sports guy. Sports guy.
He probably would. He would enjoy. I don't know if you get a lot of modern sports out of him.
No. You would basically, if there was going to be one show, that you would just hear about Cy Young all night.
He would do he would give an hour of his show about how the reserve clause was a good thing and how it maintained the integrity of the game.
His little Oscar Robertson could cover Jordan thing was totally ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
well,
just
you gotta let him
insane.
go.
Well,
He wasn't screaming. I'm so proud of him. He didn't scream today.
But Oscar Robertson, the guy averaged a triple-double his entire career.
He's a monster.
Couldn't cover Jordan.
Pitsy, to answer your question, yeah, Penn State went undefeated that year. Kerry Collins, quarterbacking as a senior, and didn't win the national championship.
He doesn't ask questions, Fuzzy. He tells you things. This kid's a computer. This kid's a computer. Bill, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey, first off, after hearing Blowhard, that's a bogus issue on the expansion because we weren't pulling from the Far East and South America,
yeah, but
Europe from all those leagues, plus our population is way higher.
But even beyond that, you got to remember that there's only so much that the people can follow, and when you start to get into multiple teams, people will stop paying attention to individuals and individual teams. I think that's the problem. You're not just focusing on so many players.
Oh, I understand that, but my original reason I called was I'm a Notre Dame fan, and being a Notre Dame fan, I don't see how Fez could put Notre Dame up there with the great teams of the 80s. I mean,
what about Notre Dame Miami, the biggest game of probably the 80s?
You know what he's talking about? Those hideous Gary Faust years.
Yeah. But that one year was a phenomenal one, Fez.
Yeah, the end of the 80s when Lou Holtz finally got in there.
When it was the Catholics against the convicts. All right, that's it for us.
We'll be back tomorrow at noontime in the East. That's 9 a.m. on the West Coast.
Earl, you're telling us we're going to open the show with Balto Mario tomorrow?
Yep, he is gonna call in.
Oh, he's calling in?
Yes.
I thought I wanted to have pasta here for him, because he's never eaten that. All right, that's it for us. Thanks, Pissy. Thanks, Eastside Dave. Thanks, Bronx Johnny. See you guys tomorrow right after the second O&A show. See ya!
The Ron and Fez Show. XM 202.